Okay, so now again, we're watching the systematic recompense of what this daughter of Babylon and this illuminated Edomite that controls the daughter of Babylon and also controls the land of Israel, Palestine. We're watching recompense coming. Now, these Edomites, as I said, they just had their recognition of them taking control of, the west side of Jerusalem, but now they're in the process of taking it all of Jerusalem, that they call Jerusalem, but it's really Jerusalem, right? They're in the process of taking control of all of it, and at the same time, this is creating more provocation with our brothers and sisters, the so-called Palestinians, again, who are descendants out of the 6.5 tribes of Israel that remained in the land, that escaped out of the hands of the kings of Assyria back then, 722, 721 BCE. But again, because our brothers and sisters are in idolatry, these things are happening to them. Okay? But I know, and I think last session I couldn't remember what I was trying to remember. I said it was 8 Hosea. It's really 14:8. 14th chapter, 8th verse Hosea, right? Where Yah says again that these descendants out of Ephraim, and I know descendants in that descendants out of Ephraim, there it's the 10 tribes, right? But definitely out of the descendants out of the house of Yahosef, and it could very well be descendants out of some of the other 8 tribes, right? That have remembered that they're Israel. They've seen this Yah righteousness. They've heard what's come through this Yah righteousness, that, you understand, the so-called Palestinians are really Israel. And then other Israelites who are in lands, out of the 10 tribes scattered on that side of the world. And some of them go over here now, without a doubt, they're all over. But definitely those who were initially scattered and, over in that part of the world, over, in what's called Iran today, the land of the Medes, over in the Soviet Union, France, England, Germany, you understand, the Netherlands, Sweden, Denmark, what have you, Syria, Iraq, Kuwait, yeah, you understand what I'm saying? Over in Ethiopia, whatnot, Egypt, you understand what I'm saying? It's different out of the 10 tribes, and then, definitely out of Yehuda Benjamin and the Y. You understand? But definitely out of the house of Yahosef. Again, and I say that like that because of what it says in the 1 chapter Bible. You understand what I'm saying? Because again, what does it say? The fire is the house of David. That's the messenger. That's the seed of David. That's where the fire. The word is fire. Right? Esau put Jacob there, but it did say the house of David for a fire, the house of Yahosef, Joseph, Yahosef, right? It's going to be the flame. And again, it's going to be descendants out of Ephraim, Manasseh, Ephraim. Again, and the house of Esau for stubble. That's the Edomites that's in the land of Israel today, calling themselves Israel, but they're Jews, Edomites. And you got to know they're Edomites. That brings you to this book. Okay? Once you understand they're Edomites, that brings you to this book. Because this book is the only source on the earth that's going to actually explain why all of this is across the earth today. Okay? And why, you understand, the descendants of Israel in many places who call blacks, who call Negroes, who call colored, you understand what I'm saying, are in the situation they're in, which precipitates situations like in Buffalo. I mean, we can go on and on and on, going back from that. Why these things is happening to us. The same things happening to our brothers and sisters, the so-called Palestinians. Same things. Shot down, beat up, abused, you understand, humiliated. You follow what I'm saying? Because we idol worshippers. This is why this is happening. Until we turn back to Yah, being the children of Israel, turn back to Yah. The people of the earth turn to Yah with all their heart and all their soul. You follow me? then you will get relief. More and more and more until eventually total relief from the sword that Yah has brought on the inhabitants of the earth to drive them mad. Again, Jeremiah chapter 25, 14, 15 verse to the 33rd verse. The sword. Again, you want to know who the sword is and who, you understand, implements the sword which brings death and destruction and darkness? Genesis chapter 27. What did Isaac tell Esau? Yeah, you're going to get the dominion, but you're going to live by your sword. And as I've said in the past, again, what did Isaac tell Esau? That the illuminated Edomites took out of the book when they translated it, but your dominion is not going to last. You're going to come back up under your brother forever. That's why Esau, the original Esau, hated his blessing, and he got in his heart when Isaac, the father, died. I'm going to kill you, Cole. Right? Resorting to the sword. Like we see so many today across the earth resort to the sword. They think because they got weapons. They think that because they got automatic weapons. They think that because they got an automatic pistol. You follow me? They think that because they got bombs or whatever. You understand? You understand? Some kind of weaponry that this is going to save them. They got some kind of pathogenic weapon, right? You understand? With their biological weapons. They think that's gonna save them. You understand? Wanting to shoot people with all kind of, you understand, monkey pox or Ebola or some other, you understand, garbage. You understand? Just like the illuminated might come out with this, you understand, mixing chromosomes, mingling the seed across the board, but mixing chromosomes, changing the male's chromosome to female, changing the female chromosome to male. And we got plenty of this. I talked about that, right? You understand? You watch that secret intersex. And they doing this, they've been doing it for a long time now. You follow me? That's these Edomites and all who's with them, whoever it may be. Because you got plenty of different nationalities with these illuminated Edomites. And again, as I was explaining the Matrix to a person the other day, because he's like, I really didn't see it. What? I said, it's symbolism. That not Matrix 2 and 3. The Matrix 1, that's the one. The first one. Okay? The first one. You watch that and it's major symbolism in there. Because again, if you in this system any kind of way, you're an agent. You know what I mean? Unless you understand, plugged into Yah with all your heart and all your soul. Again, Deuteronomy 30 verse 2, you're an agent. Simple as that. See, because it comes down to who do you trust? Who you predicated upon? You predicated on Yah or you predicated on man? If we fear flesh, it'll be a snare unto us. Because I hear about people tell me, yeah, so-and-so said they got to take the shot, they got to get a job. I'm like, you understand? So you fear flesh. They fear flesh then. Where's the trust in Yah that they're supposed to have, that they proclaim that they have? I'm a witness to that. You follow me? I'm a living witness. I'm a living example. Yah has taken care of me, you understand, since 77. Last time I worked for man in his ways. Per se. I mean, you could say, October 83, you could say that. That's the last time I really worked. That's when I totally let go of the ways of the heathen. So you could say October 83. But Yah has kept me, fed me, clothed me, housed me, and has prospered my way in the knowledge, the illumination of Him. And to be able to be a conduit that He works through to disseminate His illumination to the people of the earth who seek Him under His banner, in His name, Yah our righteousness, the King, fountain of living water, Spirit, creator of all things. Because as I said to the brother before I left, I said, bruh, these men that we used to talk about back then, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, that you used to say, you know, was doing all these nasty things that you called the devil, right? They got to get back what they put out. They got to get recompense, right? Recompense is spelled two different ways in this book of remembrance, right? E-N-C-E, E-N-S-E. But they got to get recompense. But see, again, everybody's got to get recompense. That's why it's so imperative, and I've said this in the past, if one really understands, you do right all the time, so you get that back. Why would you want to do evil, iniquity, wickedness, where you get that back? Because you're going to get it back. You're going to get recompense for what you've done. And now, this is why I say, the illuminated Edomites, they're getting recompense. They have brought and used divisiveness on the people of the earth. Now y'all is bringing their divisiveness back upon them. And at the same time, as he said in the one chapter about it, he's taking all the wisdom and understanding out of all of the Edomites, out of the mount of Esau. And how much more those Edomites that are adverse to him and his own, his way. Here's these Democracy Now! Shows. And it's you know, it's a few this month, and it's some good ones. And definitely watch the one this morning, okay? June the 1st, and I'll get to that. But I'm going to start out May. Democracy Now! Shows. And again, just like they use the term democracy now, you know, democracy is what brought, you understand, what this country's been about since Esau took it over and established it. Democracy. You understand what I mean? See, so you know, democracy not the answer. You understand? Yes. So Democracy Now! May the 10th, right? Bad Mexicans, right? Talking about the IMF, International Mafia Fund, as Gerald Salenti called it, but International Monetary Fund, right? In Sri Lanka. Right? Again, but it's all they got thing talking about the bad Mexicans, you know, the Emiliano Zapata, Pancho Villa, you know, and these different people. And it's another one, I can't think of his name. He was real prominent. But watch that one. If you didn't see it, watch it. Pull it up and watch it. Democracy Now! On the 10th of May. On the 11th of May, they talking about the Edomites and how they murdered, you understand, that Palestinian journalist, Shireen Abu Akla. Shireen Abu Akla. Just, you know, she got press helmet on, press thing, been doing this for years. They are known all throughout the East, and many people over here in the West knew her. I had never seen her. You understand? Shot in the back of the head, blew her whole face off. She over there being a journalist, you know, representative of the press. The Edomite sniper murdered her. So watch that. That's May the 11th. May the 12th. Rashid Khalidi, you know, he's talking about it on that Democracy Now! About her murder and about what's being done to the Palestinians and what's been being done to the Palestinians through the years since 1948, you know, specifically. Rashid Khalidi, watch that. Okay, Democracy Now! On the 13th of May, right? They talking about the genocide of Native American children, right? See, again, you understand, America has committed genocide all across this earth. I mean, we know Native Americans, so-called Indians, what they've been doing to them and what they did to them. You follow me? And you watch that Democracy Now! Show, May the 13th. They talking about this, all these Native American children going to these schools, right, that had been set up for them, and you know how they were abused. Many of them murdered. They done found graves, right, mass graves. You follow what I'm saying? You know, and these Catholicists, right, these priests, you understand, you know, they was raping them and pedophilia going on, all kind of stuff. Possibly some, you know, these religious rituals, you know, sacrifices, you know, all that stuff been going on. Nothing new up under the sun. You see what I'm saying? That's on the 13th of last month. On the 16th, you'll see this, that Israelite who don't know he Israelite named Kendi. He's a professor. You know, he had cancer here a few years ago. You know, he survived it, right? And he's written many books. He's written a book on racism. They got him on. You understand? On Democracy Now! You need to watch that on the 16th of May. And then in on the 17th, you need to watch that one, because they're talking about these supremacists, the Nazis, right? And the murders in, I wrote something here, can't make it out, but you need, it's talking about them. I'm pretty sure it's talking about the Nazis, and it's in the supremacists today. And I think they talking about the Ukraine. I got some stuff that I can't make out my own writing, but you need to watch that one. It's good. You understand? May the 17th, Democracy Now! Okay. And then Democracy Now! On the 23rd. Okay. They talking about the monkeypox, right? And then George Floyd situation, you know, what came about from the George Floyd situation on the 23rd, Democracy Now! On the 24th, Democracy Now! They're talking about Haiti, and this article in the New York Times report, right? You need to definitely watch that, because again, what they've been doing to Haiti because of the uprisings back there in the 18th century against the French. You understand? 18th, 19th century against the French. And you need to watch that. It's real informative, and why you got all these gangs and whatnot, and the deterioration of Haiti. But again, the Haitians is Israelites. You follow me? Because it's going to talk about how they all into voodoo over there and all this stuff, right? And again, this New York Times report was put forth by this Edomite, David. What's his last name, y'all? That Edomite that comes on PBS, David. You know, that wrote the New York Times article. I can't think his last name, but he wrote this New York Times articles. He's on PBS, generally at the end of PBS news on Monday through Friday, definitely Fridays. And he's on there, but during the course of the week. And he wrote this New York Times article. And when you actually look at it and look what he said, is really true about, you understand, what goes on over in Haiti, because more than likely than not, by him being an Edomite, he probably knows who we are. You understand? He knows who the nations know they really Israelites. David Brooks wrote this New York Times article. Thanks, babe. God bless. And you need to watch that. That was on May 24th. And then May 25th, Democracy Now!, right? They talking about, you know, the children that got murdered over there in Uvalde, Texas, right? Democracy Now! On the 30th, okay? And they're talking about, you'll see Michelle Goodwin, sister Israelite, don't know it. You understand, man? She's a professor at one of the universities in California, Southern California. And she's written this book called Policing the Womb. But you need to listen to it and listen to what she's talking about. A very articulate, very knowledgeable sister. It's horrible what happened to her, because she reveals that she was raped by her father when she was 10. It was so traumatizing to her, she went blind for a while. Okay? I'll tell you, man, you understand? But you need to watch it and see the things she puts forth, because now that they come up with this Roe v. Wade stuff, you know, the powers that be, to more distract the masses out here and to diversify, right? She talks about how, you understand, when they talk about, you understand, Roe v. Wade, this is going to take them off into attacking many other different groups. You follow me? You understand, like these LGBTQs, IAs, I think they put 2 more initials on the back, intersex and asexuals. But the deal is, you understand, a lot of these people, as I just said earlier, been, you understand, their chromosomes was changed. when they didn't have nothing to say when they was children. I'm not talking about the ones who voluntarily mess with themselves. They don't count. You know, I ain't talking about them. They did this on their own. I'm talking about the children who this was done to, who had no say and it was done to. Like I was talking about here last session, right? You watch that intersex, right? Secret intersex. But you got, now they're gonna start attacking them. And again, they do all this, the powers that be, to divide and conquer, diversify the people. You see what I'm saying? Because most people lack knowledge. You see what I'm saying? But as YHWH Hostas and I discussed, you know, and they was bringing to me here a couple years back. This is more likely why we get this, why y'all got that 56th chapter Yeshaya about the eunuch. Because y'all is righteous. See, so these children who've been attacked and their chromosomes have been changed, they had nothing to say about it. And now they're older, like an article I read here, what, about 2 years ago? You understand, about that Lurie's hospital here? And I know they got hospitals across the country and other places where they've been doing this to children, because they've been doing it over there in England. They say they turn out 2,000 of these children every year. They change their chromosome. And if they tell us 2,000, they probably doing it to 4,000 or 6,000. You can't believe them. You understand what I'm saying, per se? But the deal is, they've been doing this to children who had no say in this, and some of these children are going to turn and be about Yah. And that's why Yah is saying, even the eunuch that chooses the things that please me, I'm going to bring them in, you know, that this was done to without their say. I'm going to bring them into my dominion. That turn and embrace the things that, you know, that I say, you know, how, you understand, humans should live on this earth. Because it's Yah that determines that. He the dictator. You understand me? He's the authority. But you need to watch that on, you know, May the 30th, Democracy Now! And that Michelle Goodman. Listen to what she talking about. Very, very informative. And also what I did in that New York Times piece on the 24th of May, the one David Brooks, they talk about him writing the article. You'll also see this Professor Wesleyan Alsana. He's out of Fordham University. And you'll also see Gerald Horn, okay, out of the University of Texas. Matter of fact, the University of Houston, excuse me. Gerald Horn, he's on that show too, okay. As I said last session, for those of you who probably brought it up and watched that interview that Chris Hedges did with Professor Gerald Horn out of the University of Houston, again, that's when I found out about this book, White Malice, right, and the CIA recolonization of Africa. You understand what I mean? CIA, you know, all they you know, dirty tricks and games they play with people's lives and whatnot. Just like I talked about that MK Ultra, how they use that on Paul Robeson. And again, this old boy that killed these children in Uvalde, Texas, he might have been up under that MK Ultra. That boy that did the shooting on the brothers and sisters in Buffalo, they might have did an MK Ultra on him. Who knows? You know, Dylan Roof, you know, Manchurian candidates, in a sense. You follow what I'm saying? Because they get these people and feed them all kind of mess, and you know, send, you know, like they did Paul Robeson. You understand what I mean? Like they more likely doing the Julian Assange right now and been doing it to him. See what I'm saying? But like I said, that you'll see that Wesleyan Alsana out of Fordham University and Gerald Horn out of Houston University. You'll see them on that Democracy Now! Talking about that Haiti situation. You understand? On the 24th of May. But the deal, remember this. See, Gerald Horn and this Professor Alsana out of Fordham, they don't know we Israel. You follow me? See, that's where they off. Well, they don't know who they are. They don't know they Israelites. Okay? Now, the Democracy Now! This morning, you definitely want to watch that because they talking about the NIA. You know what I'm saying? The National Rifle Association, that NIA. And they got a guy on there named Frank Smythe this morning who's written a book called The NIA Unauthorized History. Okay, by this Frank Smythe, S-M-Y-T-H. You need to watch that and get what he runs down about this NIA. You understand? And the duplicities and the lies and deception. You understand what I'm saying? That this NIA has been involved in through the years since it was set up. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think he said it was set up in something, 24 something like. But you need to watch it. It's real good because he's a consummate authority on the NIA, and the NRA he running down about it, the real deal about it. Okay, and also they talking about these insular laws, the unjust laws that America's put on Puerto Rico and Cuba and different Latinx countries that is up under their dominion. You understand what I'm saying? And how they deal with these countries. Now here's Puerto Rico supposed to be, you understand, United States, state. You know what I mean? A country is supposed to be up under the United States, but the people in Puerto Rico can't get SSI. You know, Social Security, supplemental income. They can't get food stamps. When they had the hurricanes and stuff, they can't get anything like that. But yet and still, America say that, you know, they up under the flag of America. You understand what I'm saying? But you need to watch that and listen to how the Supreme Court, you know, about 100 and some years ago, when they wrote these laws, you know, that they are administering on these different countries, like, you know, Puerto Rico and Cuba and different satellite, you know, these little small islands and whatnot. You understand what I mean? That America, it says, is under their dominion. Look at it, you know, you need to watch and see how they deal with them, right? And also the drone strikes. They talking about that and how these drone strikes have killed many people who had nothing to do, wasn't in the military. You understand what I mean? Weren't with any ISIS or any other kind of army. And America's drones have killed, maimed, physically maimed, and killed children and people who, you understand what I mean, just citizens of different countries. We need to watch that. Now, this is why these things, again, recompense, huh? As Malcolm said back there in '63 in regards to John F. Kennedy, chickens coming home to roost. You gotta get recompense, whether it's good or evil. And this is why we see these things happening here in America, and we're going to keep on seeing them until America is eventually totally destroyed. And I mean destroyed. As it says over there in Jeremiah 50 and 51, let nothing of her be left. See? And that's what I said in the past. That's how come we know it's talking about this daughter of Babylon today, the United States of America. They ain't talking about the Babylon in the past because it wasn't totally destroyed. It was taken over by the Persians and the Medes, right? Because that's what Cyrus, the great king, made Darius the Median, huh? He made him governor over the realm of the Chaldeans, right? When Darius was what, 62 years old? Tell you that in Daniel chapter 5. Okay, newspaper articles. As usual, right? Chicago Sun-Times, May the 8th. Long nails are all the rage, but what lies underneath them might shock you. Okay, that's these, you know, long nails that women like to wear, and they got all kind of fungus, huh? And you know, germs and whatnot, putrid germs that are underneath these women's long nails. Like I said before, I don't know how the woman wipes her behind with nails that long. I really don't. Okay, but they're very detrimental. Okay. Now, Chicago Tribune, May the 9th. Pair of Palestinians shot to death in occupied West Bank. Didn't I just get through saying that? The same thing happens to them, happens to us, and happens to Israel wherever we are, because we are all Israelites. And again, it happens to the Israelites who are not in harmony with Yah, who are in idolatries. It's just that simple. Now, this article, because it's out of Jerusalem, right? 2 Palestinians, one a teenager, were killed in separate incidents in the occupied West Bank on Sunday, hours after police apprehended 2 Palestinian men suspected. I mean, how many times we hear that? Suspected or alleged, right? of killing 3 Israelis last week. A suspect, but they killed them. They just suspected. So you guilty until proven innocent. And a lot of times you don't make it to the courtroom because they're going to kill you when they come down on you, because that's what they want to do anyway. And if you bring up and watch that, what happened this past weekend over there when the Edomites, thousands of them, with their flag, Edomite flags, right, celebrating, you understand, their capture of Jerusalem in 1967. You follow me? Under a war they instigated, right? You're going to see how they treat Palestinians. They beat this elderly Palestinian woman, you understand, bloodied her head. A woman. You going to see police, you know, in Israeli army, Edomite army, police beating her. About 2, 3 of them. They had them surrounded, and you just see enough and see her head bloody. You follow me? Okay? Say, but this Prime Minister, Naftali Bennett, told his cabinet that forces captured terrorists are washed with incitement who killed with axes and unimaginable cruelty. That's what he did. That's what he said. He said the Edomites was establishing a civilian national guard that would be deployed in situations like the kinds of attacks the country has witnessed in recent weeks. So now, when he says that the Edomites, the Israelis, the Jews, they're establishing a civilian national guard. That's like a vigilante group, but you already got those. You already got plenty of Edomites over there carrying Uzis. We've seen them in pictures. You understand, on the internet, the RT show. You know what I mean? They over there and they be attacking the so-called Palestinians, right? They be attacking them. So now what Naftali Bennett is saying, the government is going to deputize them. You understand what I mean? So when they attack the Palestinians, now they covered with legality. You understand what I mean? So now it's not just, they won't be the most settlers doing it. It'll be deputized, you follow what I'm saying, instruments of the law who will be attacking them. That's what he's actually saying. Chicago Tribune, May the 10th. Gusty winds rekindle danger as wildfires spreading in New Mexico. Okay? Wildfires spreading in New Mexico. Okay? Burning up everything in New Mexico like they've been burning up on the West Coast, and you understand me, for years now. Okay? Chicago Tribune, May 11th. Gas prices have drivers feeling pain at the pump as summer nears and war in Ukraine rages. Experts say relief won't come soon. You hear that? Hear that? Okay. And also, here's Pfizer, one of the drug, manufacturers that put out drugs for the pandemic, right? Set to buy Pharma, that's Purdue Pharma, developer for $11.6 billion. So now, right, this Purdue Pharma is going to be bought by Pfizer. Because again, it's the illuminated Edomite that owns them all anyway. So where it looks like, just like what they did with Monsanto, Bayer bought Monsanto, so many billions of dollars, right? They all owned by the same people. You know what I mean? So they'll buy Pharma, right? You understand? Purdue Pharma, they'll buy it and change the name. You understand what I'm saying? That's what they do. That's all they've been doing coming up through time. That's why you don't see any more British East India Company, French East India Company, Dutch East India Company. You don't see that anymore, right? They changed the name, went off into something else, and then the name's probably been changed 3, 4, 5 times since they was called the British East India Company, the French East India Company, the Dutch East India Company. You follow what I'm saying? And you had your Portuguese and your Spanish too. Edomites, right? Edomite-led expeditions, right? Chicago Tribune, May 11th. Abortion pills are on the rise. Why? Huh? Abortion pills are on the rise. Why? Right? Because again, abortion is incorrect. Now you got plenty of women today, and like I said, you listen to that Michelle Goodwin, and what she tells you, situations like her father raped her. Now you got plenty of women out here been, fathers, brothers, You understand what I mean? Cousins or something raped them. You understand? Or just some other man raped them. They might have got impregnated, right? And then they want to abort the child. You follow what I'm saying? Because it was, you know, brought on them by rape. But see, again, because they're idol worshipers, you follow me? These things happen to them. See? Just like what we see with Diana, right? Israel's daughter, right? When they came, you understand, he comes back to the land of Canaan, he got his children. You understand? Diana's out there, you follow what I'm saying? Cavorting with the maidens of Canaan. You understand what I'm saying? And she done gone off into some idolatry. That's how come Shechem saying and raped her. Because now she in idolatry, she fooling with idols and images, right? So Yah, she done left Yah. So Yah done left her. Because she done left him. So she has no shield, no protection. Simple as that. You follow me? But they got pills out here that you can take now to abort your child. Pop a pill and kill the child. I mean, you know, the author told me you got to take them at, you know, at a certain stage. You can't just take them when you get, you understand, the baby reach a certain, term. But you take them, I guess, in the first month or first few weeks, you did abort the child. Now, what kind of mess is that? And what else is that doing to a woman's insides? Okay? Chicago Tribune, May 11. The fertility specialist fathers almost 100 children without his patient's consent. So you had this guy, he's supposed to be, you follow me? He got patience. I guess he's some kind of gynae, OB-GYN guy. And he was inseminating his seed, right? Said for years, Dr. Donald Klein was one of the better known fertility specialists in his Indianapolis community. Klein, now he could be Edomite, I don't know. His patients were led to believe that they were being inseminated either with sperm from donors or their own husbands. But Klein had other plans, which he did not disclose to his patients. He used his own sperm. One of his subsequent offspring is named Jacoba Ballard. You hear that? Jacoba, Jacoba, right? Ballard, who was the first to realize something was amiss when she submitted her DNA to 23andMe. Okay? Klein's deception began to unravel as Ballard found she was related to more and more siblings, an alarming number, and the majority of whom live within 25-mile radius of one another. So he inseminating his seed into these women. Now, how diabolical is that? Right? Which again, you understand, these people be fooling with these doctors doing this kind of stuff. Shouldn't be doing it anyway. You understand what I'm saying? See? Trusting in flesh, which we're not supposed to do. No human is supposed to trust in another human. He's supposed to trust in Yah, right? Chicago Tribune, May the 12th, right? CDC, Center for Disease Control, says rising overdose deaths hit record with nearly 108,000 last year. Okay? 108,000 overdose. And if they say 108,000, it probably might be 150,000, right? Also, study. This is a study. Over 500 died while at Native American schools. That's what I was just talking about. That Democracy Now! Show is talking about. You hear that? Over 500 died while at Native American school. Now, this is just some of them. You know that. Okay? Yeah, it's just some of them. This article here about, these children, Native American children, going to these schools and being abused and molested and everything else. No telling all the stuff that was done to them. And that is just not coming out. Again, how are thy hidden things, secret things sought up and searched out, O Esau, the daughter of Babylon, right? Chapter 47, Yeshaya, right? Come, cross over the river, let down thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, come sit in the dust, O virgin daughter. That's 47, Yeshaya, right? You shall no longer be seen as the lady of dominions. That's what should be there, not kingdom, dominions. Should no longer be called the lady of dominions, because I'm going to expose you for all of the nasty, iniquitous things that has been done, that you've done, and has been done, you understand, in this daughter of Babylon, the United States of America, right? Also, Al Jazeera, reporter covering Israeli army raid, shot, killed. That's talking about that Shireen Abu Akleh. You understand? How she was murdered by Edomite sniper. You understand? She covering them attacking Jenin. You understand? The Edomite army police attacking Palestinians in Jenin. Her and her group was over there attacking them. We saw the film. Okay, and an Edomite sniper shot her in the back of the head, blew her whole face out. She was laying there, you know, dead when we seen it. And the woman who was with her, another reporter, had on the helmet with press, had on the, you know, flak jacket with press, and she was hiding back, you understand, and trying to get away. And then another Palestinian brother, he, you know, because y'all said he brave, he came over, he didn't have no, he wasn't pressed. He just came over, he had on an undershirt and just some shorts. He came over there in his sandals, looked like, and got her body, and you know, matter of fact, assaulted her, but he helped the other one get away. And I think they went back and got Shireen Abu Akleh's body. But I know many of you probably saw at her funeral, you understand, when they had her funeral over there, the Edomite army attacked her and was beating the casket. Who was carrying her casket was beating them. They almost dropped the casket. You know, half of the casket fell. The other ones still was holding it. I mean, it's just ludicrous. You understand what I mean? But again, Shireen Abu Akleh, Palestinian, she an Israelite. Don't know it. And she was into Christianity because at her funeral they had a big old cross in you know, in flowers. So she was you know, a Palestinian who was in idolatry, Christianity. And that's again, shot and killed. She wasn't no more like 51, but she was known all over there in the Mideast. I had seen her many times, you know, in reports. But if you in idolatry, you know, Yah's not your strength and shield. You're not being protected by the Most High, Yah of hosts. And it's only one, and that's it. Chicago Tribune, May the 12th. U.S. inflation eases, but still hovers near 4-decade high, 40-year high. Consumer prices up 8.3%. Now, that's a lie. It's way more than 8.3%. Okay? Way more than that. I mean, figures we heard is like 18%. Okay? And that's not hard to see. I mean, look, when gas, just heard here last week, gas was, what, 315? 315 last year. It's around 315 a gallon last year. Now it's 515. Okay, now that's $2. So you know that, you understand what I mean? That's right there. That's like what? That's about I'm doing it in my head. Okay, that's about 40-something% right there. Okay, now, and food is up, everything's up now. Okay, you understand? So you can't believe none of this westernized media. You got to discern it all. And again, even the media that comes across RT, you discern. But like I said, they be running stuff down and showing you know, and you know in Esau the way they are. I mean, you know what I mean? Like I said, when you plug into Yah, he gives you that ability to discern and decipher. You follow me? That's from him. You follow me? And again, we've got the law, so we apply that, right? And then we know what we're dealing with. We're dealing with these illuminated Edomites, you understand, that which lie and deceive, you understand, constantly, right? In Chicago Tribune, May the 13th, Lake Mead exposes Vegas secrets. Watery graves recall mobs' involvement in city's early history. Now, you understand? This is Lake Mead. You see how dry it is, the ground cracking up. So they telling you, you understand, that, you know, back there in the 60s, coming in the 70s, right? The mob was, you know, all in Vegas, setting Vegas up. You understand what I'm saying? And killing people and hiding them in the water. You know, kill somebody, and if they didn't bury them in the desert, right, they would kill somebody and put them in a big barrel with cement down at the barrel and stick them down in there. When that cement solidifies, they go and drop them over in Lake Mead and sink down to the bottom. Now that the lake drying all up, like you saw, right? The water going in, and then them barrels with them skeletons, stuck in cement, started being exposed. And that's what this article is about. Okay? I tell you understand? It said stories about long departed Las Vegas organized crime figures of servicing after a second set of unidentified human remains were revealed as the water level falls on drought-stricken Lake Mead. The reservoir on the Colorado River is about a 30-minute drive from the mob-founded Las Vegas Strip. There's no telling what we'll find in Lake Mead, former Las Vegas Mayor Oscar Goodman, Edomite, right, said Monday. It's not a bad place to dump a body. Okay? Said Goodman was a defense attorney who represented mafia figures, including ill-fated Chicago crime figure Anthony Tony the Ant Spilatro, before serving 3 terms as a martini-totaling mayor who made public appearances with a showgirl on each arm. Again, Anthony Spilatro, if you ever saw the movie Casino, Joe Pesci is really playing Tony Spilatro, and De Niro is playing Lefty. I can't remember his last name, but he was Edomite. You understand? That's the character De Niro's playing in that movie Casino. Okay, but it's based on, you understand, the Chicago mob and them, because what they did, they set up 4 casinos in Vegas. All right, the Chicago mob, and then you had other, mob families had casinos out there. Chicago had 4. Okay, you understand? And you understand, they try to tell you, and this thing I saw, a documentary not long ago, just here the other week, matter of fact, they try to tell you that the mob's no longer in Vegas, but that's not true. See, what they've done is, you understand, they set up Disney. You know what I mean? The mob's still running it, but it's the second and third generations. With the shirt and ties. You understand, the mob guys sent their son or whatever, they nephew to school, got a college degree. They come back, you understand, and now the money been washed, and so they bring the casinos up under the second and third, fourth generations, and they still running it, but they got it fixed up like Disney and whatnot, for the kiddies. You know what I'm saying? But it's still mob. You understand? They still got their mob operation, still making money. All right, they just try to sanitize it. You know what I mean? I tell you, big article. Like I said, I didn't even read it all, because basically, but what it is also exposing is what y'all said he was going to do. He's going to dry up the pools and the water on the earth. See, and he's talking about it when you read. You remember chapter 50 and 51. He's talking about what he's going to do to this daughter of Babylon, and chapter 47 Yeshaya. What he going to do to this daughter of Babylon for all of his iniquity and wickedness. See, and again, this is what the illuminated Edomites set up. Zechariah chapter 5, the land of Shinar, the land of traffic, right? To get out from up under the monarchies, see, where they could attack the people. See, and again, when they set this up, this land of Shinar, not only were they attacking the people here, the Native Americans and the Israelites and or Hamites that were here when they came here. You follow what I'm saying? But they also, once they took this over and then set their thing up with all their munition factories, the Raytheons and the Gromans and the Lockheed Martins and the Bowens, you know what I mean, the DuPont Industries, Rockefeller, Rothschild controlled entity. They set up their weapons factories, right? The Halliburtons and whatnot and all that. You understand what I mean? They're pathogens, laboratories where they come up with all these biological pathogens to put on people, what they doing with the shots, you understand, for the pandemic. You follow me? That's all been planned out, attacking the masses, you understand, want you to take the shot so that they can systematically get rid of you, through having blood clots, strokes, You understand? Making cancer explode in your body, because more than likely the average person, you understand, they eating all this unclean garbage, turkey and chicken. You understand? You understand that they also inseminating these pathogens in. That's why, like I said, you got so many turkeys and chickens that have died supposedly from some virus, because they feed these unclean stuff, this garbage, and their bodies initially can't take it, they die, but after a while they can assimilate to it. And then they send it out here to the public. You eat that stuff, then you got that junk in you, because you're not supposed to be eating these hybrids, these scavengers anyway. You follow me? All untapped, right? Chicago Tribune, May the 13th. Inflation deflating U.S. food banks. Economy making it harder to provide help that's needed. Because as soon as this food get to the food bank, you got blocks and blocks of people lined up ready to get it. You follow me? As soon as it come in, it's gone. In the back door, out the front door. Because people don't have any money. You understand what I'm saying? The little money they're making on these jobs, right? Now that, you understand, inflation has begun exponentially, and it's going to keep on getting higher and higher and higher, right? They won't blame it on Russia. with this thing they created on the Russians, but they feed the people in the West. It's Russia doing it. It's called the Russians. You understand? But it's really the insane policies. You understand? And the attack on the nations trying to get control. And again, Russia, trying to get control of its natural resources. And that's the sycophant. That's the parasite. The illuminated Amalekite, international banking Edomite, and its tentacles. The Zelenskys over there in Ukraine, and the other Edomites that's over there, like I said, making up them Nazi groups that's actually doing the fighting against the Russian troops. In Kiev, in Donbass, in Mariupol, even though Mariupol's been taken. Yes, and pretty soon Russia's going to take it over. You're going to take the whole thing and purge them out of it. Like I said, they showed on RT here the other week. They didn't captured over 2,000 already. It's probably maybe 3,000, 4,000 now. Edomites that they calling over in the West Ukrainians. Okay, but these are Edomites. You go to that, like I said, go to that RT International, you know, RT.com or y'all say / on air. You understand? She have it on every day. She got it on in there now. Okay. Every day except the Sabbath. Yeah. Chicago Tribune, May the 13th. Right? Mercedes issues sweeping recall. Sword on the chariot. You remember chapter 50. Sword on the chariot. Mercedes-Benz is telling the owners of more than 292,000 vehicles in the U.S. to stop driving them due to a problem that could cause the brakes to fail. Now, this is Mercedes. People be going out here paying $50,000, $70,000, $80,000, $100,000 for their vehicle, and the brakes could fail. You got over 292,000 vehicles, Mercedes out here, the brakes could fail. Say the German automaker is recalling the vehicles and said it will offer free towing so the owners can get them to dealerships for service. The recall covers certain ML, GL, and R-Class vehicles from the 2006 through 2012 model years. Sword on the chariots. Okay? Because they said the moisture can get into a brake booster housing and cause corrosion. Hard braking could damage the booster, and it may not be possible to stop the vehicles with the brake pedal. A foot activated parking brake would still work. Yeah, right. Who thinks of that fast? You understand? You know what I mean? Now, sword on the chariots. Said also Biden cancels oil lease sales in the Gulf and Alaska, right? The Biden administration is canceling oil drilling lease sales in the Gulf of Mexico and Alaska's Cook Inlet, triggering furious responses from Republicans who are blaming Biden's energy policies for high gas prices, because you know that ain't nothing but some more nonsense, you know what I mean, distraction. You follow me? I mean, because if the Republicans was in there, they couldn't do no different. You follow me? This keep, you know, distract, keep the people hung up. Yes, I mean, that show you how petty that all of these politicians are. All they thinking about is themselves. You understand what I mean? If they was in there, they couldn't change a thing. They be doing the same thing Biden doing. Maybe just a little bit different, but it's gonna come out the same thing. All they got is a different methodology. Like I said before, like George Wallace said back there in the late 60s, that's why they had him shot. Tried to kill him, he just didn't die. You know, because of his iniquity, y'all put him in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. But the deal is, you understand? George Wallace, he said it's not a dime's difference in the Republicans and Democrats. Because in other words, they work for the same people. The illuminated Edomite. You know, George Wallace couldn't say that, but he more than likely knew that. You understand what I mean? Working for the bankers. That's why they had him shot. Tried to kill him, just didn't die, like Reagan. You understand what I'm saying? Chicago Tribune, May the 14th. Israeli police beat slain journalist pallbearers. That's what I was talking about earlier. Here it is right here. It said, violence expected to fuel grief, outrage across the Arab world, right? But that's it right there. See them? They beating the pallbearers at Shireen Abu Akla's funeral. Now, okay? And beat them till they almost dropped the casket. That's the Edomites for you, right? But again, this happens because our brothers and sisters, so-called Palestinians, who are really Israel idolaters, into their Christianity or Islam, into some idolatry, right? Chicago Tribune, May the 14th. Haitians dying at sea. The Haitians trying to escape because they got them gangs over there and they got all kind of economic collapse and whatnot. You understand? They trying to escape and come over here. And you probably seen them. We talked about them here some months back when you saw the Border Patrol beating them with whips. They was on horses, beating them, trying to beat them from the ones trying to come over across the border, come into America, right? Right. So now a lot of them, you know, they make these little makeshift rafts and whatnot, boats, and they get all in the boats and be overcrowded, and they trying to come across the ocean there. And the boat, something sink, capsize, and they drown. They drown. You know, they. See, but at the same time, you follow me? Esau don't tell you that. The Skull and Bone Boys don't tell you that here, right? But they bring in refugees from the Ukraine. You understand? They bring in refugees from Afghanistan. You follow me? But these is Edomites and sellouts who was working for America over in these countries. You understand what I mean? And then when America pulls out, right, and here come the other forces in, they got to escape, just like in Vietnam back there in 1974. You understand? They got to get it. So America brings its, its part of its tentacles. It's you understand? Its tentacles. You understand what I mean? You understand? They pull them out and bring them here. They bring them here on the plane, on the jet, and give them jobs and create housing for them. But we just saw here, what was it, last week, some of these Ukrainians, they done put up in hotels and whatnot here in America. They've been put out. They're homeless now. You follow what I'm saying? So I don't know what's going on there, but I guess America stopped paying the bill for them, huh? Chicago Tribune, May the 14th. Rivian recalls 500 EV pickup trucks due to airbag defect. Soared on the chariots. That's Rivian. Right? And RIT truck outside the Rivian electric vehicle plant in Normal. That's Normal, Illinois. Right? And so, they recalling 500 pickup trucks due to an airbag defect. Soared on the chariots. Tell you, boy, every time you substantiate Yah's word, it lets you know Yah exists. Yah lives. Right? Chicago Sun-Times, May the 15th. The Edomites, Israelis to investigate conduct at funeral of, Shireen Abu Akleh. Yes, that little old bitty article, right? They gonna do some investigation, right? You understand? So you know what that means, basically nothing. You understand? A little bitty article, which ain't nothing but window dressing, right? Now, and you might have saw on that other, headline, right? McConnell visits Zelensky in Kiev. Now, McConnell of the Republicans, he been over there in the Ukraine, right? Biden sent his wife over there, she's been over there. Pelosi, right, of the Democrats, she been over there. But they can agree on the Ukraine because that they told to agree on it. You understand? By their managers, they handlers, right? They got to do what they boss who pays them tells them, right? Because if they don't, they'll be out of that position quick. You understand what I'm saying? Say Chicago Sun-Times, May the 15th, after Al Jazeera correspondent shooting death, the spin started. Now this is Shireen Abu Akleh. That's her. And many of you probably seen her in reports in the past. Okay? And you see, just like she got that press bulletproof vest on, she had it on that day. And she had a helmet on. And the Edomite sniper shot her in the back of her head and blew her whole face off. Now, and she's pressed, been pressed for years. Okay? So an American journalist was shot and killed by Israeli forces in the occupied West Bank city of Jenin last week, according to her wounded colleague and several eyewitnesses and other reporters who were with her on the outskirts of a Palestinian refugee camp. The victim wasn't felled by the Russians or ISIS, and she was an Al Jazeera Arabic television correspondent of Palestinian descent, so her death barely made the local news. Nothing to see her, folks. Moving along. I said nothing to see here. Folks, move along. Only a camel jockey gunned down while doing her job with a glaringly visible press vest and helmet on. See, because the writer, this is another, I think she's Palestinian, Ramana Hussein. She's Palestinian. And she's saying just another camel jockey. Ain't nothing to concern yourself with, right? Maybe if Shireen Abu Akleh were a blonde from CNN or Fox News, there would be more of a deafening uproar from Washington and from some members of the U.S. media who were criticized for placing more weight on what the Israeli government had to say over the words of their Palestinian counterparts who also make a living digging for the truth. Palestinian journalist dies, aged 51, read an especially egregious New York Times headline, blatantly ignoring that Abu Akleh, a dual U.S. and Palestinian citizen, was struck by a bullet. Now, she had dual citizenship, okay? Palestinian and U.S., right? Israeli officials initially denied responsibility in Abu Akleh's death, asserting that the veteran reporter was caught in crossfire during a military raid Wednesday morning. That's a lie. See? Prime Minister Naftali Bennett added that she was lightly hit by Palestinian militants. Another lie. See, that's the spin, right? Then the Israeli army, in an attempt to prove that point, went on to release a video that captured Palestinian gunmen aimlessly firing weapons from inside the refugee camp. That theory quickly fizzled when B'Tselem, an Israeli human rights organization, shared a map on social media that showed that the army or the armed Palestinians were nowhere near where Abu Akleh was standing before she was shot. Now, this is a Edomite human rights group that put out, you understand, the map showing that's a lie what the government is putting out. Now, these some other Edomites putting out the truth. You understand what I mean? They call themselves B'Tselem, B''Tselem, an Israeli human rights organization. So they put out the truth to negate the lie that the government of the Edomites was putting out. See? If there was an exchange of gunfire between Palestinian gunmen and the Israeli army, it was long over before Abu Akleh was killed, according to reporters on the scene who saw Israeli soldiers milling about, but no Palestinian fighters. Dead quiet is how Ali al-Samoudi described the atmosphere preceding the chaos to the Washington Post. Al-Samoudi, an Al Jazeera producer, was also shot in the back. We saw him on Democracy Now! Too, when they were showing it. Right? Matter of fact, we saw him not on democracy now, but I think they might have showed him. They did, but we saw it on too on our RT, Russia Today, right? This isn't the first time America's trusted ally has been accused of targeting journalists. Over 45 media professionals have been killed by the Israelis since 2000. You hear that? And no one has been held to account, according to the International Federation of Journalists. This impunity is what baffles and frustrates many Arab Americans and other citizens of various ethnic and religious backgrounds who have continually called on Western journalists to rethink and reframe how they report on Palestinian-Israeli relations. The Arab and Middle Eastern Journalists Association is among those demanding a transparent and independent investigation. If it is confirmed the fatal bullet was fired by an Israeli soldier, Amaja, AMEJA President Hada Osman doesn't expect much. Not only does it hurt to lose Shireen, but it hurts knowing that there is going to be no justice, the New York-based Osman told me. Now, again, when he says no justice, isn't that what Israelites don't get any equity? Yeshaya chapter 59. She's an Israelite, but she into, she's calling, she knows she's Palestinian, but she an Israelite, but she don't know that. Abu Akbar. Like all the Palestinians, basically most of the Palestinians don't know yet, right? But she into Christianity. She in idolatry. You follow me? Okay. So she don't get any equity, right? Israeli officials have since backtracked a bit. Now they say they are looking into the possibility that the bullet that hit Abu Akbar may have come from one of his soldiers and called on the Palestinian Authority to help them with their investigation. U.S. State Department spokesman Ned Price said the Israelis have the wherewithal and the capabilities to conduct a thorough, comprehensive investigation. The Palestinians expectedly aren't so sure. They ruled out a joint investigation and refused to hand over the bullet for forensic examination. Who can blame them after watching the harrowing footage of Israeli police beating mourners at Abu Akbar's funeral Friday? The police, who whipped out their batons, causing pallbearers to briefly drop the casket as they made toward a Catholic church, said they were being pelted with stones. That's what they said. That's a lie. Even in her death, Abu Akbar continues to shine a spotlight on the struggles that color the Palestinian experience. Her reporting granted the Palestinians and the humanity often missing in the news. Abu Akbar's longtime viewers and journalists from around the world agreed. I chose journalism so I could be close to the people, the Jerusalem native once said. See, she born in Jerusalem. It might not be easy to change the reality, but at least I was able to communicate their voice to the world. That's what Abu Akbar said, you understand, in her past. The consummate journalist Abu Akbar had recently started learning Hebrew so she could understand Israeli media narratives better. Her colleague Nida Ibrahim said, it would be a disgrace if the details in the last chapter of Abu Akbar's own story aren't given the same respect. Isn't that something? That's the Edomites over there. That's how they operate. Over there, over here, and everywhere they are. Okay? Chicago Tribune, May the 15th. Widows losing all to virus in Africa. Pandemic's high male death rate exacerbates woes. Now, you see this sister here, let me see, where is she from? I think it's Umalda, Nigeria. Okay? Now, over there, the husband, you understand, does all of the, makes the money and everything. And over there, many of the men got more than one wife. But when the husband dies, if the wife, one of the wives, family, they don't have family to where she can return to and can help her, she just left out there on her own. Simple as that. And that's what this article is about. Okay? Say, the sister I just showed you, hold the baby, Anayo Imba, 29 holds one of her children in her home in Yamolda, Nigeria. On February 11th, Ember delivered her 6th child the same day she learned her husband died of COVID-19. His family stopped supporting her and sent her away weeks later. So she on her own with 6 children. Okay? Say across Africa, widowhood has long befallen great numbers of women, particularly in the continent's least developed countries where medical facilities are scarce. Many widows are young, having married men decades older, and in some countries men frequently have more than one wife, leaving several widows behind when they die. Now the pandemic has created an even larger population of widows on the continent, with African men more likely to die of the virus than women, and it has exacerbated the issues they face. Women such as Ember say the pandemic has taken more than their husbands. It has cost them their extended families, their homes, and their futures. Once widowed, women are often mistreated and disinherited. Laws prohibit many from acquiring land or give them only a fraction of their spouse's wealth. In-laws can claim custody of children. Other in-laws disown the children and refuse to help, even if they're the family's only source of money and food. And young widows have no adult children to support them in impoverished communities with few jobs. In Nigeria, Africa's most populous nation, some 70% of confirmed COVID-19 deaths have been men, according to data tracked by the Sex, Gender, and COVID-19 Project. I know that's something Esau set up. Similarly, more than 70% of deaths in Chad, Malawi, Somalia, Congo have been men, according to figures from the project. Other countries likely experienced similar trends but lack the resources to gather detailed figures. Experts say some of the widows have nothing, while others are pressured to remarry brothers-in-law or be cut off. Widows can start experiencing mistreatment by their in-laws before their husbands are even buried. Some are treated as outcasts, accused of being responsible for the death of their husband. Said Igoti Blessing, Igwa, of Women Aid Collective, which has aided thousands of widows with legal services and family mediation. It's a mess, isn't it? That's a mess. Okay? Also, Israeli police say they'll probe conduct at journalist's funeral. You understand what I mean? Yeah, right. Like, you know, at Abu Akla's funeral. Like, that's going to do something. So, many of the Hamites over in Africa, you understand what I mean? The men are taking these shots. You know what I mean? And many of them dying off, right? Chicago Sun-Times, May the 16th. Buffalo shooter made threat against school officials, said, right? Pardon me. And again, this happened on the Sabbath day, right? Says churchgoers detained gunmen in California shooting. There was a shooting out in California. Same time that this Supremacist went over there and killed the brothers and sisters in Buffalo. I tell you, man. Again, it was one dead in the gunmen attacking, churchgoers in California shooting. This was in Laguna Woods, California. I tell you, this again, you know what I mean? This happens because people are idolaters. See, and a lot of them think because they're in America, they're safe. That's what they think. Chicago Sun-Times, May the 16th, pollution pockets. Broad survey with new census reveals gulfs in air quality between Chicago's neighborhoods. So you got certain neighborhoods around here in Chicago, I know this is in other cities too, where you got more 18-wheelers, 16-wheelers, more traffic, you know what I mean? More industry to whatever extent, EPA, you understand, shooting out smokestack, contamination and whatnot. And so you got different communities got more pollution than others, right? And they say they got pockets here in Chicago, And it's a nice size article where they've got it. Said residents who live in these areas are exposed to high levels of air pollution known as particulate matter 2.5, tiny material made up of many chemicals and other contaminants that can lodge deep in the lungs and cause serious health problems. The pollutants measure 2.5 micrometers in diameter or smaller, which makes them a fraction of the diameter of a human hair. Fine particulate matter is the single largest environmental contributor to death and is linked to a number of health problems, including heart and lung disease and asthma. An estimated 5% of all premature deaths in Chicago can be attributed to particle pollution. Health experts compare the harm of breathing these particle pollutants to cigarette smoking. And well, again, it's some of everything, right? That's why it's so imperative, as I've said in the past, you know, when we come to understand that, you know, Yah is the Most High, and come to understand Yah's menu. His menu is a cleansing menu anyway, right? Again, you got so many Israelites that know the Israel still eating chicken and turkey, still eating beef products. You know, all that stuff's unclean. Still drinking cow's milk, or eating cow's milk in some shape, form, or fashion. Cheese, ice cream, all that stuff is gonna hurt you. You follow me? It cause you more problems with your lungs and taking in these, you know, particle pollutants 2.5s, right? You understand what I'm saying? So as I've said in the past to everybody, when you come to Yah and you start changing your menu from man's diet that's killing to Yah's menu that's life-giving, but at the same time, right, still everything we get is unclean. You follow me? What did Yah say to Ezekiel over there in the book of Ezekiel? Was that chapter 4? Right? Though we use much nitre and soap, we still not gonna be clean. You understand what I mean? We everything we eat still gonna be contaminated, still gonna be polluted to some extent, whatever extent, right? But again, those of us who turn back to Yah and those of us who turn to Yah, you know, and I say it like that in the latter sense, for those who are not descendants of Israel that turn to Yah. You know, they had a Shem, Ham, or Yefeth, you know, you understand? But they turn to Yah, right? The stranger, right? Then you turn to Yah with a whole heart and soul, but at the same time, you need to do what? You need to clean up your past, right? Which means internal cleansing, you know, with psyllium husk. And psyllium husk, they have them out here with different herbs for, you know, for your kidney, for your liver, for your pancreas, you know, for your thyroid, for your internal organs. You see what I'm saying? So you need to clean up your past, right? Do internal cleansing to remove that plaque around the ventricle arteries and the different arteries and whatnot, and the plaque around your different valves, like the aorta valve. Okay? You follow me? Internal cleansing. And if you do that, you know, and the sooner the better, and you start doing that, the better off you're going to be. You follow what I'm saying? Where you don't get hardening of the arteries, right? You understand? Because of the plaque build up over the years when you were eating these things you thought was all right, or whether you know, because you like the way they taste, you know what I mean? But they weren't all right. You understand? Again, what is the job of Yah our righteousness? To break its clods. Descendants of Jerusalem. What are we to do? To turn people back to Yah. To direct people back. Yeah, again, we can't turn them, but we can direct them to Yah. Again, Malachi chapter 4, right? Not turn them, but direct them to Yah. Point back to Yah. To remove the obstacles, the stones, the impediments. Gather out the stones. Remove the stumbling blocks. Set the waymarks in the right direction for the people. That's what Jerusalem movement is supposed to do. Yah right. That's what we do, right? The illumination that Yah brings through us to all of you out there, whether you Israelite or not, but you desire to be about the Father, your creator, Yah, our righteousness, the King. He who creates hosts. Chicago Sun-Times, May the 16th. Why pollution known as PM 2.5 is so hazardous to your health, right? Each time we take a breath, the outside world finds its way into our body. One type of thing in the air is called particulate matter. That's why they call it PM, right? Particulate matter, often abbreviated as PM, consists of very small particles suspended in the air we breathe. These particles could be dust or smoke, tiny drops of water, or even chemical compounds. PM is described by its size. When these particles are very small, about 1/30th the diameter of a human hair, they're known as PM 2.5. Individual particles may be too small to see, but when levels are high, they can make the air look thick and hazy. Particles with diameter of 10 micrometers or less can enter deep inside a person's lungs, but the most health-damaging particles are even smaller. Those with a diameter of 2.5 micrometers or less are small enough to get into your bloodstream. That's why y'all said he's going to bring us back, right, and cleanse our blood that has not been cleansed. And eventually, as I said earlier, right, once the temple is built, this third and last temple of Yah is built, completed, and the sacrifices go on, then the healing waters start to come forth from up under the porch of the temple. Eventually that turns into a river that empties out and eventually evaporates, goes up into the air, spills off into other bodies of water, right? And those are the healing waters. Can't happen until this third and last temple of Yah is built. The Edomites can't build it, though they desire to. Right now, they desire to. We've been seeing that. You know, you watch that about their, march this past Saturday, Sunday, you know, when their flags talking about when they took over Jerusalem. You're going to hear them talk about that if you bring it up on the internet. You follow me? They want to build this third and last temple. That's Yeshaya chapter 66, right? What does it say? That brethren that hated you, hated Israel, the Edomites, that cast you out for my name's sake, said, let y'all be glorified. Well, again, I cited that when I first saw this back in September 1987. You follow me? Well, they still got that same desire today. That's why they're attacking the El Asma. You understand? And our brothers and sisters, the so-called Palestinians who really Israel, worshiping their idols and images in the Islam. You see what I'm saying? You see how so much confusion out here? You follow me? But again, you understand, I was asked this the other week by this brother. He like, he called, he down there in Florida. He probably gonna hear this. He like, you understand, what is that meaning over there in Malachi chapter 1? When it say that, the Edomites gonna, you understand, come back into the land and they gonna say, nah, this land belongs to us. And we gonna see, and we gonna say in our heart, y'all gonna be magnified from the port of Israel. Now this brother, when I was hitting him with it, and I brought in some other things, you know what I'm saying? And he like, but aren't we supposed to be in the land when we see that? I said, brother, think about it. How could we be in the land if Esau there? You understand what I'm saying? That's chapter 33 of Yeshaya. The Jerusalem movement don't come back until Yah has brought the Edomites, run them up out of there into their land, right? And they've been burned up in their land. There's only going to be a few women and children left of them. So how can we be in the land and say this about the Edomites? No, we see this in captivity. I don't know if he understood it or not. Okay, because if I'm not mistaken, I think he either hung up or Esau cut us off. And he didn't call back. You understand what I mean? But, that's what I say about, you understand what I mean? You got brothers and sisters out here and other people too reading this book. But again, they don't understand what they read. Okay? But like I said to him, how can we be in the land? I think this brother, he plugged into some of them brothers that's already left here, went over to the land, or they They either in the land now or they've been put outside the land. They're around there in Egypt or down there in the desert somewhere hiding out from the Edomite authorities. You understand? Because they got ahead of y'all. You understand? I've talked about that in the past. And I've even been told that, you know, some even know they've acknowledged that they got ahead of y'all. That's what I've been told. But like I said, when another brother told me this, I didn't even respond because it's neither here nor there. I mean, you know, because I've been saying this for years now. You understand what I mean? You know, chapter 33, Yeshaya, that the Jerusalem movement doesn't come back. Yeah, and again, when the Jerusalem movement comes back, it comes back in the sight of everybody on the earth. Is that not right? Isn't that the 52nd chapter of Yeshaya? The whole world is going to be watching when Yah brings again Zion. He's going to be on the head of it. He'll be at its rearward. You can't say the name of the movement without saying Yah first, so he's on the head of it, isn't he? You understand what I'm saying? So reading and understanding is two different things. Huh? You follow me? Because there's some people used to be plugged into this movement and they used to regurgitate and parrot, you understand, things that they heard here, right? And I was under the impression that they understood until they, you know, committed their folly, right? And got out of place. You understand what I mean? And then I'm like, well, so they was just like I was starting to see toward the, you know, toward their demise, you know what I mean? Before they made these silly moves, they just regurgitate, they just parrot. They really don't understand at all. You understand? But again, that's, you know, about this PM 2.5, this really small particles in the air that we breathe in when we out, you know, in this. That's why again, y'all said he brings us back. He gonna cleanse our blood that is not being cleansed. He gonna open up that fountain for uncleanness for the inhabitants of Jerusalem. This is even before, the way it looks to me, before Jerusalem is even told cleansed of all idolatry. That's 13:1 Zakai. But that'll be for the inhabitants of Jerusalem. You know, basically, right, when we become the beacon on the hill, the light to the world. After Yah has gotten rid of that 2/3 that'll be over there in the land that's really not about him. That won't be about him, whether they say they are or not. Once the Jerusalem movement is brought back and set in the midst of its sisters to be a comfort of them, to comfort to them, like it says in 61 Yeshaya, that they might be called trees of righteousness, the plan of Yah. Because they, you know, just like I said in the past, Moshe gonna say, you know, when the Jerusalem movement, like Moshe said to our forefathers when he came down off the mountain, this is what the Jerusalem movement gonna say. You see it intimated over there in the 28th chapter of Yeshaya, where it said he gonna speak to this people, you know, the so-called Palestinians, descendants out of the 10 tribes, you know, Ephraim, as they're called in 28 Yeshaya at the top, right? You understand? Because there's going to be a lot more of them there. Once y'all run the Edomites out and they get destroyed in their land, get burnt up in their land. You follow me? Plenty, you understand, Israelites who call Palestinians going to rush up into the land when this happens. So when the Jerusalem movement is brought back not long after that and set in the midst of his sisters, that's what it's talking about in Yeshaya 28. Gonna speak to this people in another tongue, gonna speak to them in English. And gonna like Moshe said when he came down off the mountain, all right, all who's for Yah, come unto us. It's time to return to Yah and start obeying all of his laws, statutes, orders, judgments, commandments, and precepts with all your heart and all your soul. Now, who's for Yah? And now, you're going to have many who going to say, I ain't about that. You know what you Israel, we know it, you know, plenty of them pastors going to say that. But you're going to have some of them, you know, have a minute. They're going to like, no, we Israel. Because y'all bring the remembrance back into them, different ones, right? Like I said earlier, like it says over there in Hosea 14, verse 8, and Zechariah chapter 10, right? And in the one chapter about, again, the sinners out of the house of Yosef got to be the flame that actually Yah works through to put the actual killing on those Edomites that's over there claiming to be Israel. When Yah runs them out of our land into their land, south of the Dead Sea. That's what we waiting on. All right, now. So when Jerusalem movement is brought back and say, okay, all who for Yah come unto us. You're going to have so many going like, You're going to have so many going to say, yeah, okay. Quite naturally, more likely than not, I would think the majority of the Demona movement, Sodom and her daughters, that's over there, you understand, in Demona, and Mizpeh, wherever they are, you know, Arad, and they're going to come over. But you're going to have some who are going to be in around the land who weren't, you understand, with the Demona movement, but out of YHWH Benjamin, the Y, you understand, who went before Yah in the last few years. You understand? They're going to come up into the land. They might be down in Egypt now, down, like I said earlier, in the Sinai somewhere, hiding out from the Edomite authority. They're going to come up. And they're going to more likely say, yeah, we're about Yah. Some of them might be, some of them won't be. And that's that 2610 Yeshai, because you can't have from Yah. But again, once we start dismantling the idols and images in Jerusalem, start cleansing Jerusalem of all idolatry, we're going to get attacked. And in that attack of the Assyrian, today they call it rockets, right? Because when we start dismantling the Donarah, the Elas Mas, the Holy Sepulchre, all of that garbage over there that's in Jerusalem, because Jerusalem has to be totally, totally clean of all idolatry before Yah's temple, before the foundation can even start being laid for his temple. But when we start this, we're going to get attacked. You understand? That's Micah chapter 5 at the back end. That, as a matter of fact, that's Micah chapter 5, right? And that's Zechariah chapter 12, chapter 13. And in all the land, you're going to have 2/3 of the people who, whether they say they're about Yah or not, Yah going to remove them if they ain't totally about Yah with all their heart and soul. Whatever they might say, right? But it's going to be 1/3 left. And that's when, after that, you know, Yah going to run them Assyrians out, Iraqis out. More likely with a force he going to bring from the nations that bring the arm of Yah to Jerusalem. That's Daniel 7:13. That's Yeshaya chapter 60. The kings come to the brightness of thy rising. Right? That's Yeshaya 49. Kings and queens going to be thy nursing fathers and nursing mothers. You follow me? So Yah raise up before and drive them out. And when that happens, that 1/3 that's left, that's when we become the beacon on the hill, the light to the world. That's when we continue on completing the cleansing of Jerusalem of all idolatry. But at the same time, when that happens, that's when Yah opens up that fountain for cleanness for the inhabitants of Jerusalem. That's when he starts to cleanse our blood that is not being cleansed. Now, once the temple is finally, you know, the foundation laid, the temple built magnificently, and at its completion, that first offering, Malachi chapter 3 at the top, that first offering is put on, like in former generations, like, you know, many generations ago. You understand? The acceptable offering. That's when, you understand, just like when Solomon got through making his supplication, you understand, that I mentioned earlier, right? Yah came into the temple inside the cloud. And when he came inside the temple, the whites, the priests and whatnot, they had to come up out of there. Right? Okay, that same similar thing gonna happen again. When Yah comes into this third and last temple, all right, when that acceptable offering gets put on, Malachi chapter 3, he gonna come into his temple, right? And what does he say? Even the messenger of the covenant, whom he delights in. Because as he says, you know, you understand, for who is that engaged his heart to approach unto me? See, and that's when Yah reveals his mind, just like he did with Moshe. Because he got to tell us, he got to let us know who's who, what's what. You follow me? Because he the only one that knows. Can't be no guesswork. Who the high priest is, who the priests are. Matter of fact, he'll have to do that even prior to that. Matter of fact. Okay? You understand? But who's Issachar? Who's Naphtali? Who's Reuben? You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff he got to reveal because he runs the show. He runs the show. He the king. He's the dictator. Huh? Simple as that. His edicts have to be carried out. Exact. But that's when he'll get again. And when the temple is completed, then those healing waters come out. That's when he starts to gonna start healing up the whole earth and the heavens and the waters, everything. And then eventually, right, when all of this is completed, as I said earlier, right, that first vision that Daniel got over there in chapter 12. And what did Gabriel say? And when Yah has accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all this shall be completed. That's when Yah reigning over the whole earth, right? Now, all the people that's left on the earth, that turn to Yah, submit in these other nations, they're gonna be cleaned up too. That blood is gonna be cleansed. They're gonna be rejuvenated. You follow me? When this last dominion, the first dominion, somebody want to call it the fifth, which is the dominion of Yah, right? But it's really the first dominion, the everlasting dominion, right? And when it's established on earth, everybody that's left on the face of the earth gonna be about Yah. Everybody get clean, you know, everybody will be cleaned up. Blood will be cleansed, rejuvenated. Y'all reigning over the whole earth forever then. Yeah. Okay? Hundreds rally and loot here in Chicago after killing a Palestinian American journalist. Yeah? Okay? We got a lot of Palestinians, you know, live out these suburbs around Chicago. And I don't doubt some live in Chicago, but many of them live out, you know, in the suburbs of Chicago, especially south, southwest. I see some, I can see some all the time. Okay? And Yada does too. We've given different ones flyers, but you know, don't resonate on them. At least not yet. Chicago Tribune, May the 16th. New York market shooter researched the area. Officials' intent was to kill as many black people as possible. Okay? That's the Buffalo murderer. 18 years old. Say he researched the area. And he wanted to kill as many Israelites as he could. So-called black people. Now you tell me if this, you know, Yah bringing forth his judgment, making his judgment rest for a light to the people. Huh? But who understands the word of Yah? Who understands prophecy? Chicago Sun-Times, May the 17th. Buffalo suspects diary shows plot and work since November. All right? And you expect us to keep doing this over and over and over again, forgive and forget. Now check this out. Let me go back up a little further so you know what I'm talking about. Said former Buffalo Fire Commissioner Garnell Whitfield Jr., who lost his 86-year-old mother, Ruth Whitfield, in the shooting, asked how the country could allow its history of racist killings to repeat itself. Quote, "We're not just hurting, we're angry," Whitfield said at a news conference with civil rights attorney Ben Crump and others. "We treat people with decency and we love even our enemies." You hear that? That's that Christianity garbage, right? At the White House, excuse me, and you expect us to keep doing this over and over and over again, forget and forget, forgive and forget, he continued, this Whitfield, right? You understand what I'm saying? And he says, while people we elect and trust in office, you hear that? People, you hear what he said? People we elect and trust, right? So that, you understand, we ain't supposed to trust flesh, we trust Yah, right? He don't know that. He into Christianity, right? He said, while people we elect and trust in offices around this country do their best not to protect us, not to consider us equal. Now, he's the former fire commissioner in Buffalo, Israelite. And his 86-year-old mother, was killed. Ruth Whitfield, she was murdered at the store, 86 years old, and she was shot and killed. So he's saying, you know, you understand, you expect us to keep on forgiving? Well, that's what you've been doing. Ain't that what your doctrine that you follow, that Christianity? He just indicated it, didn't he? You understand? We supposed to we love our enemies. How much sense that make? Huh? How much sense that make? Okay? Chicago Tribune, May the 17th. Police, gunman planned second attack. Suspect in Buffalo talked of another shooting had he fled. So if he had got away with this, he wasn't over. He gonna do some more shooting and killing. Now, you understand? You see Crump, and this is he's accompanied by the relatives of that Ruth Whitfield, and so one of these guys, probably the guy standing behind with the cross, you know, like superimposed over him, he's standing behind this cross. He's probably the ex-commissioner, fire commissioner. But there it is right there, and there they big symbol of their idol, But you know they in the church house, right? And so he's saying, you know, we forgive our enemies. Oh, you do? We love our enemies. Oh, you do? Really? Okay. See, he don't understand a thing. You know what I mean? Now, it's sad. That's how much darkness they in, though, in their idolatry. Chicago Tribune, May the 17th, California agency unanimously rejects desalination project. Now, you know, they got a 20-something-year-old drought out there on the West Coast. Worst drought, what is it, like 200 years or something? You know what I mean? 2,400 years, I said it last session. Okay? So they talking about, people wanted to build a desalination plant out there, you understand? This was out of Huntington Beach, California. So a California coastal panel has rejected a long-standing proposal to build a $1.4 billion seawater desalination plant to turn Pacific Ocean water into drinking water as the state grapples with persistent drought that is expected to worsen in coming years with climate change. Now, as I've said in the past, poor people can't do anything. Only the people with big money, you know, creates these wars and, you understand, can do projects with like a $1.4 billion desalination plant. And it was rejected. Why you think that is? Because the powers that be, they got that kind of money, they can send $40 billion over to Ukraine, to them Edomite soldiers, Nazis over there under Zelensky that's fighting against the Russians. You understand what I'm saying? That's trying to, you understand, take Russian country over and its natural resources. They can send, first they said, if you remember, they were going to send $33 billion. It ended up, they put another $7 billion and sent $40 billion over there to, you understand, supposedly to the Ukrainians. That's how they build it, Ukraine. But it's really Edomite Ukrainians. That's who they really send it to. Edomite Ukrainians. Okay? Jew Ukrainians. That's who they sending the money to fight against the Russians. That's not doing them any good. That's like money down a black hole, cause, you understand what I mean? We heard here the other day, we listened to things on RT, these different groups, they said, you know, most of that money never even got over there. Now, where's the money really going? Who's the money really going to? Like I said on the last session, you understand? From what I understand, that Zelensky, he worth $850 million. Where he get that money? He was a TV, he was a TV personality. Where he get $850 million from? Now, so where is this money really going, supposedly, that coming out of taxpayers' dollars? That they running off on the machine, running these dollars off on the machine. And every time they run these dollars off, it's devaluing the other money that's out here. That's what's creating inflation. When you go to the pump, you got to pay $5, $6 for some gas, for a gallon of gas. When you go to the store, you understand, you used to get maybe ground chuck that might have been $3, $4 a pound. That is $8, $9 a pound. $6, $7 a pound. You understand? And going up exponentially. You know, your gas, heating gas going up, your cooking gas going up, right? Your electricity going up. Everything going up but your salary or your income. Now, but they can send $40 billion over to the, supposedly to the Ukraine. But a $1.4 billion desalination plant, and they need water bad out there on the West Coast. Water dried up. I just showed you Lake Mead dries up on. Lake Powell dried up. The Colorado River drying up. That feeds a bunch of these rivers and water situations all the way down to New Mexico. All that drying up. Yeah, I said he gonna dry up the pools in the daughter of Babylon. He drying up the water across the earth in a lot of places though. But again, he talks specifically about that, you understand, in Uriah chapter 50 and 51. That's why in chapter 47, Yeshua about the daughter of Babylon, what did he say? You understand, I'm gonna bring drama on you. You shall not know from where it rises, because I'm gonna come from everywhere. You understand what I'm saying? So now they can't build a $1.4 billion desalination plant in California, but they can send $40 billion to the Ukraine. They can spend, what is it, $21 trillion over the 20 years they was in Afghanistan that I said here some months back. They claim, you understand, they don't even know where that $21 trillion went to. It's unaccounted for. But it was supposed to be, you understand, sent to these munition factories and whatnot, the Halliburtons, the Raytheons and the Gromans and the Lockheed Martins and the Bowens and so on and so forth. You follow me? The Carlyle Group. They you understand? They sent that all that money over the years, but now the money's supposed to be unaccounted for. They don't know what happened to $21 trillion to Afghanistan that they had to flee from. And supposedly left many multi-billions of dollars worth of weapons in Afghanistan. Are they crazy or what? But a $1.4 billion desalination plant so them people can have water there over on the West Coast, they can't build that. Insane policies, right? But again, the illuminated Edomite knows that America's being destroyed. I got some more stuff I'm gonna get to you. I'm gonna underscore that, underscore that understanding, that prophecy. Okay, yeah, just keep listening. Okay, I'm telling you, this is real stuff. But at the same time, as I was talking to L.E. here the other week, and was hitting with, and we was talking. He said, "I love it, brother." L.E. was like, "I love it, brother. I love it because he can see, with all this, we just getting closer to going home. The Jerusalem movement. You understand what I'm saying? Because again, these monarchies, that's why they had to be sprinkled. Because they listening, they watching. Because Yah is their only salvation. Not just like I said on the first show we did with Marcel, not just for them, but for their grandchildren, their children, their lines, their bloodlines. If they want salvation, they got to come to Yah. Period. Yah our rights. They got to come to the movement of the Most High. And submit. Just like Yah said they're going to do. Just like the illuminated Edomite, the Leviathan in Yeshaya 27. That Leviathan that controls this daughter of Babylon, that controls the land of Israel, he's got to submit. He's got to make peace with Yah in his arm. And cause the vineyard of red wine to take root. Because he watching and listening too. Like I said in the past, they assassinated Malcolm X, right? For what he was espousing. He's in idolatry. They assassinated Martin Luther King for what he was about. He's in idolatry. They assassinated JFK because what he was espousing, right? He wanted to get rid of secret society. But again, he going up against the illuminated Edomite, the sword of Yah. So again, he was assassinated. His brother, Robert Kennedy, same thing. He gonna go against them too, trying to be president. They assassinated him before he got there. Like I said in the past, he must have had a death wish. He really didn't understand. Because they weren't with Yah. They all in idolatry. All four of those men. And everybody before and since who has gone against the illuminated Amalekite International Bank and Edomite. Kwame Nkrumah, what I'm reading now in that White Malice by Susan Williams that I showed you earlier, right? I just got a little ways in there. I got this big book, but I'm gonna read it because again, you understand? You follow me? But they talking about how America, the daughter of Babylon, went into these countries and brought down their governments that were duly elected by the people. I mentioned them in the past, but this is specifically talking about Africa. But I mentioned Iran, Mossadegh, I mentioned Allende, Chile, I mentioned Torrijos, Panama. You follow me? Chicago Tribune, May the 18th, inflation bites Latin America. In Mexico City, tortilla prices are up by a third. Beef-hungry Argentinians pay 58% more, and I just mentioned that ground beef. Yeah, the Argentinians paying 58% more than what they were paying for ground beef. Now, you follow me? This is hitting all over the earth, right? And what did Yah say? He gonna make his judgment rest for a light to the people, not just in one nation, not in 2 or 3 nations, but the whole earth. See, because he moves the sword. See, whatever those Edomites, illuminated Edomites do, y'all moving them to do it. Because they're the sword in his hand. Right? You read me chapter 25. I'm going to bring a sword on the inhabitants of the earth to drive them mad. But again, this is the Illuminati Edomites' mad desire, right? Because again, you read me 17. Yah, what does he say? The heart is deceitful above all things, desperately wicked. Who can know it? Yah try the heart, right? To give everyone, as I said, according to their desire, according to their ways. Well, what's the Illuminated Amalekite International Bank and Edomites' desire? To attack the people. That's what they've been doing for centuries. Attacking the people over and over and over again with their schemes and scams. Because they're parasites, sycophants. That's why Bram Stoker wrote Dracula, Prince of Darkness. The ultimate parasite. He talking about the illuminated Edomites. See, y'all to be listening to Caleb Marvin all the time. Right now. You understand, RT? So here the other week, few weeks back, I'm back there listening with her, and he get to talking about, you understand, he mentions about Bram Stoker. He said, you understand, some people think it was one thing, but hey, he telling you what it, he claimed he think he know what it's about. He ain't thinking, he said he telling you how he sees what it's really talking about. See, but he totally off. See, but Caleb Marvin doesn't know this book of remembrance. Just like the Jerusalemites, he caught up in Christianity. Caleb Marvin, he's a socialist. He thinks socialism is it. He thinks that's what's best for the people. You follow me? See? And again, it's not. You understand what I'm saying? But they know nothing about their creator, YHWH. Because just like Yah created me and all of you out there in the womb, he created the Jerusalemites, the Caleb Marvins, the Queen Elizabeth II. The illuminated Edomite, the house of Rothschild, Jacob the Right, he created him in the womb. He created everybody. You understand what I'm saying? So you can't get out from up under his dominion. You understand? Because no matter, he gives the dominion on earth to people, but at the same time, they can't do anything what he doesn't allow. And he moves them in the way of their own heart. And he moves them in accordance to this illuminated Edomite. He moves them on the people because that's his desire. That's their desire. The illuminated Edomites, right? To attack the masses like they've been doing, like I say, man, over 2,000 plus years. See, that's why they were getting put out of different nations coming up through the CEAD. They get the people so disgruntled, the people shut down, start raising Cain, protesting, not doing what the monarchy wanted them to do of that country. And then the monarchy like, what's going on? The people like, it's them Jews. It's them Jews doing this to us and us. And, you understand? And so then the monarchy tell the Edomites, the Jews, oh, y'all got to go. Y'all messing with my thing now. See? So that's why when you read the protocol, what did the illuminated Edomite wrote? Back there in 1783 at that meeting, they're like, you know what? We got to get rid of these monarchies because they interfered with us attacking the sheep. So what did they eventually do? They like, we need a country that we can control without a monarchy. With what? Democracy. Which is a what? A delusion. An illusion. Just like communism, socialism, an illusion, a delusion. This stuff comes out of the heart of man. Or man. Right? You follow me? This is just an illusion. Just an illusion. Yeshaya chapter 66. What do y'all say? They chose their own ways. I'm going to choose their delusions. See? And they're caught in the illusion of possibility. See? But these socialism doesn't work. Democracy doesn't work. Democracy. Right? None of the ways of men work. It's only the way of Yah. That's it. See? I understand that. And I know there's others out here now that understand that. Okay? Chicago Tribune, May the 18th. Early transgender identity tends to endure. Early transgender identity. See that? Now that's some adults with their children, okay, who they have allowed their chromosomes to be attacked. Children who begin identifying as transgender at a young age tend to retain that identity at least for several years. A study published recently suggests. Now, all these studies groups, they funded by the illuminated Edomites to watch this junk that they've been perpetrating on the people, creating these transgender children with the parents' consent, not the children's consent, with the parents' consent. Follow me? And that's why y'all got that chapter 56 Yeshai in the book. See? Because all of these children, when they get older, it's been done to them without their consent. They don't like it. They detest it. See? That's why you got that petition going around that you never hear anything about, that I mentioned a couple years ago, what, 2-3 years ago? I think it's a couple years ago, that Gabrielle Union, she signed her name to it. But you ain't heard nothing else about it. Huh? These children who, this was done to 40-something, 50 years or some years ago, they upset about it. Like I said, when you watch that Secret Intersex, you see them ones over there in Britain, they like it, they 50s, 60s, early 60s. It was done to them. You know what I'm saying? 50, 60 years ago. And they don't like it, but they trapped in it. Now, mingling seed. What? Daniel chapter 2, in the days of these kings. Huh? When they mingling seed, I'm going to start setting up my dominion. Not kingdom, dominion. Right? That's y'all talking. I'm going to start setting up my dominion. The first dominion coming back. But this time, the everlasting dominion. New and, you know what I'm saying? It says new and improved. Okay? And that new and improved basically, you understand, points to us, right? And other people in the world who's sick and tired of chaos, who's sick and tired of darkness, who's sick and tired of lies and deception, who want peace, truth, righteousness, huh? Uprightness, humbleness. You understand what I'm saying? Humility, not arrogance and ego and pride. You understand? Want to work together. You understand? Don't want to be vaulted over other people. Don't want to be vaulted over anybody. Just want to work for the Creator. Want to live in peace, truth, and righteousness and harmony. Not causing divisiveness. And that one of the things that Yah say he hates, those who cause divisiveness among brethren. Well, we all brothers, the whole human race. We all come out of Noah. Isn't that right? We all come out of Noah. We all come out them 3 boys. They was brothers, weren't they? Chicago Tribune, May the 19th. Nearly 1,000 fighters in steel mill surrender. Russian soldier on trial pleads guilty to killing civilian. That's some of they, that's some of their propaganda. But you understand? Like I said earlier, it's around 2,000 or so more now. But them Edomite Ukrainians surrendered to the Russian forces. Chicago Tribune, May the 19th. The Israelis okays march. That's the march I was just telling you about. Israeli authorities on Wednesday said they had given the go-ahead for flag-waving Jewish nationalists to march through the heart of the main Palestinian thoroughfare in Jerusalem's old city later this month, in a decision that threatens to reignite violence in the holy city. That's what I was just talking about. This happened last weekend, and we saw it on the internet, on RT. And man, they was beating Palestinians, marching through the Palestinian section of Jerusalem, and the Palestinians had their flags out. They was snatching them, tearing them up, throwing them down, right? But they had their flags, right? They say it's against the law for the Palestinians in their section of Jerusalem to wave their flag, but they can come through there and wave the Edomite flag. You follow me? See, and all of this is leading to what? You follow me? To the establishment of Yah in Jerusalem. Simple as that. Okay? Say the Office of Internal Security Minister Omar Barley said the march would take place May 29 along its customary route through the Damascus Gate. Each year, thousands of Israeli Edomite nationalists participate in the march, waving Israeli flags and singing songs, in some cases chanting anti-Arab slogans, as they did again, because they was many of them was saying death to the Arabs, which is what they call the so-called Palestinians, who are not Arabs at all. They Israelites, but they don't know that. Now, you understand? I tell you, man, this lack of understanding is so pervasive. This darkness that is so pervasive on the people of the earth is really, man, it's something. And it's not relegated to any specific monetary group or geographical location. It's pervasive through the earth. You understand what I'm saying? This darkness, this gross darkness that the people of the earth are in, because they have no light in them. You understand? Proverbs chapter 6, the law is light, but they don't know the law. Y'all, they don't know nothing about their creator. Okay, now they say here, Chicago Tribune, May the 19th, U.S. and World Banks show plan to ease food crisis, but they're not doing it. They precipitating it by what they doing. You understand, against Russia, because a lot of this, fertilizer, multitude of this fertilizer for foods and crops comes out of Ukraine. Soybean oil, sunflower oil comes out of the Ukraine. The majority of sunflower oil comes out of the Ukraine. You understand what I mean? Other stuff. So America, what they doing, and the Western European countries going in with America, they precipitating this food shortage. They was talking about that this morning. You follow me? On RT, y'all, they had it on. Okay? I mean, it's really stupid, but they don't have any wisdom, understanding. They crazy. You understand what I mean? Also, EU mulls $315 billion plan to ditch Russian energy, and they was talking about that, and that's really stupid, because Russia, like, you don't want to pay it for oil and gas or whatever in rubles, you're not getting it. That's just and the Russian guy came on this morning. The Russian representative, he said that. You understand? We don't care. You don't want to use rubles to buy our products, then you won't get it. And he said it's just that simple. Okay? Now, you don't want to use Russian rubles, you suit yourself, go on and get whatever you need, wherever you can get it, because you won't get it from us. You want our products, you're going to have to change your, you understand, monetary into rubles, and then you come buy it from us. We'll sell it to you, but only if you use the rubles. Now, and they say the ruble has gotten stronger than stronger. Listen to some economists here the other week. They said, man, the ruble, it kind of went down at first, and said now it's off the chart. Ruble is so strong. They said it's stronger than maybe even the Russians want it right now. All right, but the ruble is stronger than strong. And that's what this illuminated Edomite over here hates. But he want to keep people awash in this worthless dollar. You understand what I mean? That more and more nations around the earth is refusing to take it. Okay? Chicago Sun-Times, May the 20th. Bush mistakenly refers to Iraq war instead of Ukraine. Many of you probably saw that boo when he made that. You understand? He said the truth, but he didn't mean to say that, right? You understand? Former President George W. Bush is facing criticism after mistakenly describing the invasion of Iraq, which he led as commander-in-chief, as brutal and wholly unjustified. And that's totally correct. He said the truth there, but he didn't mean to say that. He came back yesterday, well, he attributed to his age. He 75 why he made the mistake and did his little stupid giggle. You understand? You follow me? That's Bush. That's why, again, you understand me? When he was president, he couldn't talk to reporters or anything, basically, unless Cheney was standing right there by him. You understand what I'm saying? And when I remember when they grilled him on the reporters had this meeting about the 9/11 situation and whatnot, he couldn't talk to them in front of the cameras. They had to do it without any cameras and without any recorders, and Cheney was in the room with it. Now, Because, you know, that W. Bush, man, you understand what I mean? He's far from being one of the sharpest knives in the drawer. Okay? Chicago Tribune, May the 20th. Pollution kills 9 million around the world each year, study shows. See? And you can see these factories emitting all of that toxic, gas. All right? But that's the estimate. That pollution kills 9 million around the earth every year, but it's probably more than that. Together with all of the messed up food and stuff that they eat and, smoke they ingest, and everything, from cigarettes and cigars and all that garbage, pipes, whatever else they might be doing. Chicago Tribune, May 21st. To weather inflation storm, New Zealand dispenses cash. So this is out of New Zealand, right? New Zealand's government said Thursday it will hand out an extra few $100s to more than 2 million lower-income adults to help them navigate what it describes as the peak of the world inflation storm. Now, they're doing that here in America, in different states. Like here in Chicago, they, had the lottery to start giving, I think it's 2,000 families here $500 a month for a year. In another state, I think I might have read it last session, they're going to give them $500, I think, for 2 years. You understand? For the people who, qualify and who might win a lottery or however they're going to choose. You understand what I'm saying? But that's because people are in such dire straits now. Like I said earlier, one of the articles I cited earlier, right? The food pantries, they can't keep food now. As soon as it come through the back door, it's going out the front door. All right? Because people can't, they can't. A man just said this morning on, what was it? Some yada she had on the internet, and his name was Rivera. But when I saw Julio Rivera, and she said, I said, he an Edomite. She said, he an Edomite. Rivera, I said, look at it. He an Edomite. You understand? He one of these, hooked up with one of these organizations that Esau sets up to monitor. You understand? Esau got a plethora of organizations, all different kind of names. They all sit around monitoring. You understand? I mean, doing surveys. You understand what I'm saying? In other words, checking the pulse of the people in certain, what I mean? Esau behind them all. He got Edomites over him and in them. You understand? Like this Julio Rivera. You understand? He got a Latin name. He Edomite. You understand what I'm saying? They got Edomites everywhere. Like I said, every place where we went, got that in the flyer. For those of you who read it, right? What is that on page 3? Everywhere in Israel, when we went as the captive, the Edomites went as the slave overseer initially. Until eventually he became, you understand? He got the dominion. And superseded, you understand, the Gentile, whatever that Gentile was, Hamite, Shemite, Ephite. You understand what I'm saying? So they do this to try to ease. They don't want the people storming the government. You understand what I mean? Because people go crazy and crazy when they can't feed themselves, and that's why we seeing so much destruction and chaos too. It's precipitated by people not having any income or not enough. I said this on the first show with Mark Sims, didn't I? People not going to lay down and die because they don't have a job. They're going to do anything they think they need to do to try to sustain themselves, no matter how crazy it is, not realizing that when they participate in these crazy activities, they got to get that back. That's not going to save them just because you get angry or get frustrated or start doing something stupid. That's not going to save you. You understand what I mean? That's a band-aid. Might not even be a good band-aid, right? Also, 4 European nations plan North Sea wind farms for energy shift. Now, you understand? I mean, I told you about these energy farms, right? With these windmills, you understand what I mean? Turbines. What did I say? A few months back, and I think I mentioned it here a couple months ago. They did the survey because they always doing surveys. They got all kind of groups Esau employed to do surveys on different things, right? But you understand, what was it? 2018, they supposedly got something like what was it? I think like 29% of their something like that. Power from wind turbines. But then they did a thing in what was it, 2019? They only got like what was it, 13%? And they said because the wind wasn't blowing. Now who brings the wind to turn the turbines? You follow me? You can't get around y'all, huh? You can't get around it. Okay? No matter how smart you think you are, right? Chicago Sun-Times, May the 22nd. Cops handling the Buffalo suspect prompts talk of uneven restraint. Right? Now, you know, they didn't say they took the like Dylan Roof. They didn't say they took him and got him a quarter pound and some fries and something to drink. Right? But again, they didn't kill him. You follow what I'm saying? Just like they didn't kill Dylan Roof. You know, generally, you know, now this boy, this Latinx down there in Uvalde, he got killed, and the way it sounded, they killed him, right? But if it had been one of us do something like that, ain't no way they would have captured us alive, more likely than not, right? They'd have killed us. Say when police confronted the white man suspected of killing 10 black people in Buffalo supermarket, he was the very poster boy for armed and dangerous, carrying an AR-15 style rifle and cloaked in body armor and hatred. Yet, officers talked to Peyton Gendron, convinced him to put down his weapon, and arrested him without firing a single shot. And the Buffalo Police Commissioner, Joseph Gramaglia, that they cited their training and called it a tremendous act of bravery. Right? You follow me? That's how they deal with these, you know, people who look like they Caucasians, the Edomites. You understand? They might be Edomites, but as long as they're not a person of color. Because if they had been a person of color, they probably killed him or her. You understand what I'm saying? Because we just saw this morning, they had the internet on, and here they were. Where was this? A pregnant sister showed a picture. I think it was in Kansas City. That's what I think it was. The police stopped her and some more people in the vehicle, and they got out, and they thought they was doing something where it sounded that they weren't doing. I know it's going to be on the news later on today and in the paper tomorrow. This sister was pregnant, and they asked them to get on. They told them to get on the ground, and she, you know, she's pregnant, so she must have been like maybe 6 or 7 months, maybe more. You know, when she got, because she said she couldn't go on the ground, she was pregnant. And they kept on telling her to get on the ground. I don't know what precipitates these brothers and sisters to do this, but she turned around and started running. They shot her. Okay? They said she was hit about 4 times. Last I heard, she wasn't dead, but they shot her in the back, killed her. I mean, like I said, I don't know if she's dead. They say she wasn't dead yet. They took her to the hospital, but she was shot like 3-4 times. And she's pregnant. And the way it sounds, she was visibly pregnant. Now, I don't know what possesses these brothers and sisters to take off running when these police got their guns on them and giving them orders to do something and they won't do it. Because when you turn around and run, they're going to shoot you. Simple as that. Because they don't care. You understand? I'll hear some more about it more than likely, you know, on the news, like I said, later on. But again, you know, they didn't kill this Gendron, Peyton Gendron, okay? They didn't kill him. Like I said, I don't know if they took him like they did Dylan Roof and bought him a quarter pound and some fries and something to drink before they took him to jail, right? I wouldn't doubt it. You understand what I'm saying? And here it is again, another way how they do this double standard, right? Chicago Sun-Times, May 23rd. Now, this sister that wrote this article, she writes for the Sun-Times. She a journalist. She went to school with high school, right? Double standard of words, images for people of color. Okay, her name is Laura Washington. As the tearful mist cleared from the horrific racially motivated massacre in Buffalo, New York, an insidious insult to injury is emerging. On May 14th, Peyton S. Gendron, a white 18-year-old man, allegedly shot and killed 10 shoppers at a Buffalo grocery store. The victims were targeted because they were black, police say. Some news organizations and commentators have referred to Gendron as a teenager, and even a child, suggesting youth vulnerability and a person in need of special consideration. There is no such consideration for alleged black perpetrators and even victims. Last week, Stephen W. Thrasher, an assistant journalism professor at Northwestern University, posted excerpts on Twitter from 2 different Associated Press articles, noting that in AP copy, 18-year-old Michael Brown was an 18-year-old black man, while 18-year-old Peyton Gendron is a white teenager. You hear that? Michael Brown is the brother that got killed at Ferguson. You know that policeman, what was his name? Wilson, murdered in Ferguson, Missouri. Shot him down like an animal. You understand? I've talked about that. Okay? You understand? Michael Brown, but they called him a black man. But they called this Gendron, who done killed 10 Israelite, so-called black, you understand, people in Buffalo, call him a teenager. Like you say, referred to him as like, you know, a young, vulnerable teenager, a child. You understand what I'm saying? In 2014, Michael Brown Jr. was fatally shot by a white police officer in Ferguson, Missouri. His death triggered protests nationwide and helped inspire the Black Lives Matter movement. Thrasher added, social science has been clear on this for a long time. People raised as black and gendered as male are perceived as older. So killed Mike Brown is a man, while alleged killer Peyton Gendron is a teenager. Now, Michael Brown didn't kill anybody. He was shot down like an animal, but they call him a man. But this Gendron, he done just killed 10 human beings, right? He ain't call him a teenager. Now that's the differentiation. That's how they, you know, how they print this stuff to control your mind, make you think a certain way. And that's what we have to be cognizant of all the time when we reading things. You understand? Just like when we reading this book of remembrance, this illuminated Edomite that's translated. And you've got to, you know, be cognizant of how he brings things. Just like at times they'll say, you know, they've written the way they translated the book, like Yah has to wait to see what, for instance, our latter end would be. You know, they've got it phrased like that. When they say Yah said, yeah, I'll wait to see what their latter end is gonna be. Yah ain't gotta wait to see nothing. Everything is before Yah. Yah knows everything. But that's just one of the situations. Like I said, you know, you got to discern how this illuminated Edomite has attacked the book. You follow me? Just like how he's putting Jacob in places. Like that, you remember chapter 30, verse 7. Like over there in the one chapter by you, you understand? Make the house of Jacob for a fight. It ain't the house of Jacob, it's the house of David. Because it's the messenger that it's talking about. You follow what I'm saying? So again, the illuminated Edomite has attacked the book. That's why you got to be cognizant of this when you're reading this book. Right? Chicago Sun-Time again, May 23rd. Military jet brings 78,000 pounds of infant formula to Indianapolis. Now, this is a mold game. Now, and as I said in the past, I wasn't raised on any formula. I was breastfed. And I remember sitting in the high chair because I was telling y'all this, just little scans, memory in my mind, sitting in the high chair, and how my mother, you understand, used to mash, she'd have green peas or something, potato, she would mash it up and give it to me. And when it come down here, she'd take it, you know, and give it to me on the end of a spoon. I remember that to this day. Huh? I remember getting the little baby food in a little jar. You know what I'm saying? Gerbils, what it was. You know, applesauce the way you feed me. You know what I mean? See, because I didn't have no teeth then. You understand what I'm saying? Or very little bit. You know what I mean? So what's this formula mess? Huh? You understand? You mean to tell me children are in danger because they don't have formula? That's how weak these women have become? And these men have become, you know, feeding their children some formula mess? You know, which has got to be some garbage anyway, because what I understand, I said this a few years ago, brother used to be in Connecticut. Last I heard he was in Florida, but he ain't called in a long time. But he used to tell me when his wife started having children, you know, started having children for him, he was like, he said, yo, man, I'm reading all these baby formulas. They got sugar, they got soybean in them, they got this mess in them. I said, yeah. I said, well, you know, you started to figure out, you know, breastfeed, she don't want to breastfeed, then you know you make up something for her. You understand what I'm saying? You understand? I mean, you gonna tell me all that stuff is modern day nonsense? You depending on flesh again. What were the people feeding their children before they started coming up with formula? You understand? Biden says monkeypox something to be concerned about. Monkeypox, man. I tell you, Esau keeps junk coming all the time. Got to be starting to something, right? Chicago Tribune, May the 23rd. New Mexico wildfire evacuees fret about their future as finances run low. The government not helping them. They send all the billions of dollars over there to the Ukrainian Edomites, but they're not going to help some of these people here. Tell you. Also, gasoline prices. The average U.S. price of regular grade gasoline spiked 33 cents over the past 2 weeks to $4.71 a gallon. And it's more now than it was then. All right. Also, Southern Baptists. Leaders of the Southern Baptist Convention, America's largest Protestant denomination, stonewall and denigrated survivors of clergy sex abuse over almost 2 decades while seeking to protect their own reputations, according to a scathing 288-page investigative report issued Sunday. These survivors and other concerned Southern Baptists repeatedly shared allegations with the SBC's executive committee, only to be met time and time again with resistance, stonewalling, and even outright hostility from some within the EC. The 7-month investigation was conducted by Guidepost Solutions, an independent firm contracted by the executive committee, another Edomite, more likely, committee firm. You know what I mean? They got thousands of them, right? Okay. Independent firm contracted by the executive committee after delegates to last year's national meeting pressed for a probe by outsiders. The executive committee is set to hold a special meeting Tuesday to discuss the report. Meetings and whatnot, so these group of people they put over these committees can get paid a salary, right? Nothing but tentacles of the Illuminati. So they've been abusing these Southern Baptists, right? Decades, over 2 decades, You understand? They've been seeking to get some kind of respite, some kind of you understand? Understanding some materialistic, fund, reparations, if you will, right, for being abused by the clergy. Over how many years? They don't say that, right? Again, all of these Christian clergies and Christian religions, groups and whatnot, denominations been abusing people for centuries, man. But people still want to call themselves Christians, right? They still going for that nonsense. All right. Also, they had a peanut butter recall, right? Consumers should double check their jars of Jif peanut butter amid a recall, the Food and Drug Administration and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention say. Jif's creamy, crunchy, natural, reduced fat peanut butters have been linked to a salmonella outbreak across 12 states that have left 14 ill, with 2 people being hospitalized. Like I said, they never had that with peanut butter when I was coming up. Now we see it, B times and often, Put out by the J.M. Smucker Company. A voluntary recall. Okay? Jars with the lot codes 1274425 through 2140425 have been recalled and should be disposed. Salmonella cases were reported in Arkansas, Georgia, Illinois, Massachusetts, Missouri, Ohio, North Carolina, New York, South Carolina, Texas, Virginia, and Washington State. Oh, man. Chicago Tribune, May the 23rd. Gangs strangle Haiti's capital as deaths, kidnapping soar. Haiti's a mess. And like I said, when you look at that democracy now, if you haven't seen it already, when David Brooks from the New York Times wrote that article, and again, David Brooks is Edomite, but what he said in that article is basically the truth, okay? But you're going to hear that, you understand, that Professor Alsonot out of Fordham on that Democracy Now! Show, he going to attack it. He going to say it's racist. You follow me? But again, David Brooks wrote it because the Haitians is sunk into voodoo and some other stuff. Like I say, he Edomite. He probably know exactly that we Israel, but he ain't going to say that. You follow what I'm saying? But this Alsonot and Gerald Horn, you know, professor out of Houston, you understand? They talk about it because they don't know they Israel. You understand what I'm saying? Lack of knowledge, but Haiti's a mess. Just like over here, you know what I mean? And even worse, it's a mess. You follow me? But again, the things that have been done to Haiti because Haiti rebelled. And not only rebelled, they had a revolution and ran out the forces of Napoleon. You understand what I'm saying? Took control. And these illuminated Edomites never forgot that. You follow me? They've been putting it on Haiti ever since. You follow me? To like say, you know, this is what happens if you do win a couple of battles. You understand what I mean? This is what we gonna do to you. And they've been doing that to them now over what, a couple 100 years. See? Because again, the illuminated Edomite and the Edomites have no mercy. And in the curse, in that what y'all say, we're not gonna find any mercy. We only get mercy through him, from him. And that's when we return to him with all our heart and all our soul in submission, commitment, and obeying all his laws, statutes, orders, judgments, commandments, and precepts. It's just that simple. It's not complicated. All right. Chicago Sun-Times, May 24th. Pfizer says 3 COVID-19 shots protect children under 5. So, you know, it first came out here a couple years ago, over a couple of years ago. We don't give any children under 12 a shot. They don't need it. Right? But then they switched from that. Now they talk about giving them shots, children under 5. And they need 3. Now, what are they assimilating into them? They changing their chromosomes too? Chicago Tribune, May 24. Monkeypox likely spread by sex at raves in Europe. Okay? Now, you understand? The leading advisor to the World Health Organization described the outbreak of monkeypox in developed countries as a random event that appears to have been caused by sexual activity at 2 raves in Europe. Okay? They say this is not COVID, though. We need to slow it down, but it does not spread in the air, and we have vaccines to protect against it, right? Okay, monkeypox. They the one who started that. I mean, come on, where is the joke? You know what I mean? They never stop with the mess. Never. All right. Also, in Tehran, in Iran, the Edomites, the Israelis, they killed another, Iranian Revolutionary Guard member. Gunned him down in the heart of Tehran. Okay? At this time, when I pulled this, they say the attack was mysterious, but they figured it was the Edomites, but later on, the Edomites laid claim to it. They came out and said, yeah, they killed him. Nah. That's how arrogant and bold they are. They said, yeah, we got it. Okay, Chicago Sun-Times, May 21st. Texas tragedy. At least 19 children, 2 adults killed by 18-year-old gunman in elementary school shooting. It is. Now, and again, these things are going to keep on happening because this is the daughter of Babylon. And you gotta reap what you sow. Simple as that. Okay. Chicago Sun-Times, May 25th. U.S. plot against Bush foiled. An Iraqi man who came to the United States 2 years ago and applied for asylum hatched a plot to assassinate former President George W. Bush in retaliation for casualties against his compatriots during the Iraq War. Shihab Ahmed Shihab 52. Okay, that's his name. He got 3 names the same. Shihab Ahmed Shihab 52 was ordered held without bond by federal magistrate. Now he's supposed to he come over here to kill W. All right. Now they caught that quick though, didn't they? Now they catch what they want, right? What they not behind, right? Chicago Tribune, May 25th. Mining firms step back from Brazil's indigenous territory. Because you got mining factories. This come out of Rio de Janeiro. Some of the world's biggest mining companies have withdrawn requests to research and extract minerals on indigenous land in Brazil's Amazon rainforest and have repudiated Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro's efforts to legalize mining activity in the area. So they're saying they're not going to encroach on these people's, territory, mining and creating all kind of, toxic waste and whatnot, because the people don't want it. Because again, they over there mining for gold and whatever other, precious metals and materials that, these companies need, like that, can't think of it now, that they need for the batteries. It's escaping me now. That they went over into they cooled the brother, the Indian brother that was on the president down in one of the countries. I just can't think of the name of it now, it's escaping me. But they cooled him for that, and they say Elon Musk, he put a lot of money to having that guy cool because, they got a large vein of that, material they used to make batteries. Same thing I said they found over in Afghanistan, probably why they was over there for so long. I just can't think of it now. Some of you probably remember it. You hear it, pop it up on the screen when you hear this. I just can't think of it now. But they use that to make batteries. And again, but these mining companies, said Brazilian Mining Association, which represents around 130 companies, conducted an internal survey of its members earlier this year. For the first time in decades, none of the companies have current research or mining applications for gold, tin, nickel, iron, and other ores in indigenous areas. Now, see, so I don't know why they stopped I don't know if they've got a sense of altruistic, sense in them. You know what I'm saying? The reason why they stopped, or they're not prepared to deal with the indigenous population's protest and pushback. Okay? But they say the indigenous protesters painted with red ink and clay that I just showed you, representing spilled blood and gold, march against mining activities April 11th at the Ministry of Mines and Energy in Brazil, right? And then again, they, that's the indigenous population protesting about these mining companies, okay? Chicago Sun-Times, May 26, People Gas wipes out balance for 12,000 customers here in Chicago. People's Gas is helping thousands of Chicago area customers cover their overdue heating bills, including by wiping out balances for about 12,000 residents. I mentioned that earlier, right? They say thanks to increased federal funding and state aid. So the government and the state has come and gave People Gas some money to wipe out these people's debts, because these people ain't gonna be able to, you understand, wipe that debt out before the next winter comes where they can get gas heating. So you understand, if that debt wasn't taken care of, they're not getting that gas turned on. So you'd have all these people without any heat, going around into next winter here. Well, they didn't want that, because that'd have been, man, that'd have been, real chaotic. You follow what I'm saying? So the federal government came in and the state came in, put some aid package together, gave it to People's Gas, where they wiped out their gas overdue bills. Now, When you go to 47th chapter Yeshaya, verse 15, what does it say? You understand? Matter of fact, not verse 15, I think it's 14. I'll read it to you. Hold on. Okay. And it says, verse 14, behold, they shall be as stubble, the fire shall burn them. This is what's coming, the nuclear war. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not be a coal to warm at, nor fire to sit before it. Now, as I said in the past, it's not that they won't, it won't be accessible. It's that the people can't afford it. Because how long is the government and the state going to, handle these overdue gas bills for the people here in Chicago, for the people in New York, for the people in Cleveland, for the people in Baltimore, for the people in Philadelphia, for the people in DC? You get what I'm saying. And in other places where it gets cold and they need gas heating. Huh? You follow me? How long they gonna keep paying that? Like I said, they can send $40 billion over to the Ukrainian Edomites over there fighting the Russians. To no avail. Right? But how long they gonna keep doing that for the people here? See? Like I said, it won't be that it won't be accessible. They won't be able to afford it. And they can't afford it now. And I've talked about this before, some years earlier. Right? So that's what's going on. It's bad. It's going to keep getting worse. Chicago Tribune, May 26. Demand off the charts at Elgin food pantries. There again, they can't keep any food for these people at these food pantries. They come in the back door, go right out the front door. Okay? Salmonella outbreak tied to peanut butter. I just mentioned that. Jif peanut butter. Right? Retirement on hold for some. Inflation, market slide have many Americans rethinking planned exits from workforce. Okay, because they show you this elderly couple here. You understand? Retiree. I mean, they was thinking about retiring, but they can't. Okay? They can't retire. It's on hold. Okay? Because he was thinking about retiring. Say Americans on the cusp of retiring are facing a tough choice as they watch their nest eggs shrink, stay the course, or keep working. A stock market slump this year has taken a big bite out of investors' portfolios, including retirement plans like 401ks. The S&P 500, the benchmark for many index funds, is down about 17% since its all-time high in early January. Didn't I tell you they're not going to let these people get this money? You follow me? All that stuff's predicated on stocks, and they steadily bringing it down, 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 down. And again, the stocks that might be doing good, these war stocks, poor folks don't have that. The rich got that, not poor people. Poor people can't afford them war industry stocks. Like I said, one share of that stock might be $5,000. You follow what I'm saying? And then, the average person, they got these 401ks, 457Bs or something like that. You understand what I mean? They getting guided and directed by the stockbrokers. Where they put their money. What did they tell them? What they think is going to do good. See? But when that stuff started going down to people's money, like I told you, my manicurist told me the other month. You understand? Guy, she said he lost $60,000 in his, portfolio. Now, $60,000, and it's just gonna keep going down. It's going down in stair steps. It's not like 2930 when it went down like a shoot. They taking it down more and more, little at a time, little at a time, little at a time. You know what I'm saying? But, these people were thinking about retiring, can't retire. Okay? They got to keep on working. Like I said earlier about my guy, when I went over there the other week, you know what I mean? And I went in and we was talking, and when I asked about his youngest brother, he said, yeah, he coming. He said, but I said, he retired. And he said, no, well, he retired, but he had to go back and get him a little something, You understand what I mean? To get them through this inflationary period. You follow what I'm saying? Which it's not going to stop. But I didn't say that to him. I don't think. I might have said it later on. You know what I mean? But my guy and his wife, he said they cutting back because they can't work. He disabled. You know, she's and then and I didn't say this earlier, but before I left, she told me she had a heart attack a little while back. Because she laughed when she said, yeah, the doctor told her she had an attack, but then he told her later it was her heart. She said, so I had a heart attack. She laughed. You know what I mean? You follow me? All after they took the shot. But now let me say this, you know, my guy told me he had a stroke back in 2002. I didn't know nothing about that. See, he told me he had a stroke back then. Now, follow what I'm saying? Also, India puts limit on sugar exports. See, you follow me? They put limits on sugar exports. So they like, hey, we got to keep our sugar. we can't be exporting it all. You understand what I'm saying? So they done put a limit on it. Huh? India has restricted its sugar exports to 10 million tons in the current season to help maintain domestic availability and keep prices stable. Now, that reminds me when you read over there in Malachi, right? Was that chapter 1? When y'all said, or chapter 2, said you didn't bring me, you know, talking about the people back then, you know, with the Levites and the priesthood. You know, keeping the temple, that second temple that, you know, Zerubbabel and them end up building eventually, right? And so as the time went on, what did y'all say? You haven't brought me any sweet cane with money. Because prices going up, right? Taxes and everything on the sugar. And everybody like a little sugar every now and then. You understand what I'm saying? So the people supposed to bring some sugar to the priests and to the Levites. And they stopped doing it. That's what y'all saying. You didn't bring me no sweet cane with money. You stopped bringing the priests and the Levites that minister to me. You stopped bringing sugar. Okay? Sweet cane, you know, with money. You understand? You neglecting, you know, my ministers that minister to me. See? Chicago Sun-Times, May the 27th. Huh? The NRA wasn't always opposed to gun restrictions. Now, this article is talking about, but like I said, for you to really get some more bead on that, look at that Democracy Now! This morning, June 1st, and listen to that Frank Smythe, who's written the book, like I said earlier, the NRA, Unauthorized History. And just listen to him. He running it down. This is his expertise on this. And listen, look at that Democracy Now! This morning, and listen to what he running down about the NRA and about the canards, as he calls them, that they put forth, the lies and the deception through the years. Okay. Also, Russia slams sanctions, seeks to blame West for food crisis. Because again, you know, they put out over here in the West, it's Russia is the reason why the food crisis. But the Russians like, no, it ain't us. You follow what I'm saying? It's America. And all them nations siding up with America with their sanctions. You know, like cutting off the nose to spite the face. It's because again, these rich folks, it ain't hurting them. They getting everything they need. When the price go up, it's not hurting them. They got the money. You follow what I'm saying? They got the inside track. But the masses of people, not only here in America, but the world South, they call it the global South. But y'all know I don't like to use the term global because that's mind control, trying to make you think the world is round like a ball. You understand what I'm saying? But the world South is hurting. Egypt, Syria, you know, Iraq, Kuwait. You understand the masses of people in these countries over there in the continent. You know, Nigeria, like I read you about the sister earlier, Imba. Right? You understand? Her husband died, you know, because evidently he took the shot. Killed him off as he's killing many of them off. Because you know they got different kind of shots for different areas. You understand what I'm saying? And so, you know, these people don't have any income or low income, right? And again, it's the illuminated Edomite of the West that's precipitating this. And more likely the illuminated Edomites, in a sense, maybe, you know, because they were all for the pandemic. Now, this situation with Russia, maybe not quite all of them is for that. You understand what I'm saying? But it could be they all for that too. Because they parasites, parasitical. sycophants, Draco. You understand? Ultimate parasites. All right, Chicago Tribune, May the 28th. In India, beloved mangoes becoming victims. Mangoes are becoming scarce. Effects from climate change and pandemic ravage the vital fruit. Okay, because that mango is good. Okay, I love mangoes. All right, but now they're becoming scarce, right, and more expensive to boot. And again, with scarcity, raises the price, right? The more the demand, the higher the price. Just like the oil and the gas now, fertilizer. You follow what I'm saying? Foodstuffs. Okay. Also, they're going to show you Mideast violence. An Israeli border guard uses pepper spray on a Palestinian protester on Friday in the West Bank town of Hawara. Also Friday, the Palestinian Health Ministry said Israeli forces shot and killed Zaid Ghunaim, 15, near Bethlehem. 5 Palestinian teens have been killed during Israeli or Edomite military operations in the West Bank in a month. Now, this is what the so-called Palestinians who are really Israel, right? That's what they got to deal with, right? Similar to how we got to deal over here and any other places where Israel is. See? Because again, that's Yah bringing forth judgment to make it rest for a light to the people. Like I said, how long these people gonna keep calling on Jesus, keep calling on Allah, and not getting any help? Idols and images, that's what they are. They got to start calling on Yah. Okay? Calling on the Creator by His name, Yah. And again, coming to this book of remembrance that's written in over, what, 2,100 languages? So don't tell me it's not in your language. Right? And then you understand, you read, you know, and at some point, if you start doing that, Yah gonna direct you to Yah righteousness. You understand? Where and through He's removing the stumbling blocks, gathering out the stones, breaking its clods, setting up the waymarks. Like the brother said to me Monday when he called. You know what I mean? Because he, like I said, he told me you 10, 11 years ago when I called, you know, you was telling me, you know, I didn't see what you know, didn't agree. He said, but you told me, okay, bro, just keep reading, keep studying. You know, if your heart, because he told me, he said, I told him, if your heart is right and you really want to know the truth, y'all gonna show it. He said, he done showed. He showed me. I mean, the brother, you know, you know what I mean? It's just good when brothers and or sisters or people, period, whatever their nationality, different ones have called through the years to tell me that keep doing what you're doing, yo. We really appreciate you. And had different ones call and tell me that. Quite naturally, I get some who call and get upset, hang up in my face, and get all upset with me because they can't see it. And they can't see it because of something in their heart where they're turned back. Like I just said about the brother earlier that hung up on me earlier this week. You know what I mean? And, you know, fussing and arguing and, you know, want to, you understand? Like I just pointed to you at the initial, you know, at the start of this session, right? You know, it said over there in chapter 11, verse 10, Shem had a foxide. He was 100 years old. He had a foxide 2 years after the flood. Well, he got to be about 102 or right at 102. This brother talking about he was 98 now. he was turned back, wasn't he? 42-17 Yeshua, because it wasn't his heart. But he hung up in my face again. So, you know, what can you do? You know what I mean? Like I said before, I'm not trying to recruit, reform, convert, or convince anybody. I can't. That's in the hands of Yah. That's between every person and Yah. You understand that? Yah deals with everybody in accordance with what's in their heart. I don't care who you are or who you think you are, right? Yeshua chapter, Tribune, May 28. U.S. renews Chevron's license in Venezuela. You hear that? U.S. renews Chevron's license in Venezuela. So, you understand, America done cut the deal with Venezuela now. They ain't telling you everything. And I haven't heard anything come across IT, right? But they didn't hook back up with Venezuela. Now they giving Chevron a license to what? To start pumping that oil. Okay, because they need oil over here. You follow me? Now, this is the side of Miami. The Biden administration has renewed a license partially exempting Chevron from sanctions on Venezuela so it can keep operating in the oil-rich socialist, you know, here they go with the propaganda, socialist-run nation, right? The license issued Friday by the U.S. Treasury Department allows California-based Chevron and other U.S. companies to perform only basic upkeep of wells it operates jointly with state-run oil giant PDVSA, dashing the hopes of those who wanted to see a resumption of exports to ease pricing pressures at American pumps. Okay, so way it sounds, they ain't really pumping yet, but they get ready to let them start, right? They, again, you know, they need oil. They got to fill up this vacuum. They're not getting Russian oil. They got to get it from somewhere. They're not getting Iranian oil, because as far as I know, you understand, they ain't set up nothing with them yet. You understand? Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine and ensuing international sanctions targeting Russia's oil industry have led the Biden administration to reconsider long-standing policies isolating our oil powers, Venezuela and Iran. See, so you understand, they're trying to work something out, but you know, again, if I was Maduro and Iran, hey, y'all got to turn loose the money, give us our money, give us our gold. You understand what I'm saying? And again, we're not taking any dollars. You want this oil, you got to pay us in rubles. You follow what I'm saying? Or pay with gold. Now, that's the deal. That's the going thing now. And matter of fact, you can pay us in renminbi, yuans. But we're not taking anything other than that. If I was them, it only, you understand, yuans, go, or matter of fact, you can maybe pay us now, because that Venezuelan money, not the boulevard, not worth anything. Now, I don't know about the Iranian paper, right? But hey, you got to pay me in the ongoing, you know, the paper that's backed by something. Because I haven't heard anything. I heard Russia and China was in discussions about their paper backing it with gold, but I haven't heard anything more about that. Okay, so now, you know, say Venezuela sits atop the world's largest oil reserves. Okay? You understand? So now, you know, say while Maduro has welcomed the surprise outreach, joking that he wanted to soon travel to New York to attend a salsa festival, there's been little progress since. See, so they haven't really actually done it, but they you know, evidently they getting around to it. Okay, because they gonna need to fill up this vacuum from somewhere, right? Chicago Sun-Times, May 29th, police inaction moves the center of Uvalde shooting probe. But you know, again, you understand, these police, hey, if they had gone in there blazing and they had shot up some children, they'd have been castigated for doing that. So they really damned if they do, damned if they don't. Plus the fact, you know, bust in there, they you know, I don't care how you train, when the bullets is flying, you gonna think about yourself, and you ain't gonna just run into no bullet, you know what I'm saying, if you can help it. You know what I mean? Self-preservation is the law of all life, first and foremost, right? Also, South Asia's heat impact. Climate change means regions devastating temperatures, a sign of things to come. You follow me? This heat, man, it's been tremendous. Y'all's been bringing this heat. They said the climate change, that's what they attributed to, has made those heat waves 30 times more likely. Okay? Saying an Indian farmer carries wheat harvested from a field on the outskirts of Jammu, India, in April amid a heat wave. That's him there carrying wheat. Okay? But some of these countries been getting up to 120, in the 120s, 110. And it's been devastating, you know, this heat. Pakistan, you know, matter of fact, they sent floods of water downstream in Pakistan. They had a glacier burst in Pakistan. That's what it was there. But they said also, the heat wave has seen Indian cities and Pakistan consistently hit temperatures above 113 degrees in recent weeks. Pakistan, scorching temperatures in Pakistan were over 122 degrees were recorded in Jacobabad, and Dandu. In India, New Delhi saw temperatures hit 120 degrees this month. So the heat's been devastating. And again, this is more, you know, what does he say? He's going to dry up all the herbs. That's in the 42nd chapter of Yeshaya. So this is all y'all working, right? On these idolatrous nations and peoples of these nations. Chicago Sun-Times, May the 29th. Hyundai recalling 239,000 cars. Hyundai is recalling 239,000 cars in the United States because their seatbelt pretensioners can explode and injure vehicle occupants. Well, sword on the chariots. 239,000 vehicles, Hyundai. Sword on the chariots. Mercedes-Benz, Hyundais, I mean, you know, right? And again, the same that I just read to you out of the Tribune, this is out of the Sun-Times, May 29th. Stock slump pushes some near retirement to continue working, right? Mark Vandell in his home office is among Americans on the cusp of retiring who are facing a tough choice as they watch their nest egg shrink. Stay the course or keep working. Despite the market's decline, investors like Vandell are sticking to their retirement timeline. You understand? Here it is right here. Okay? Now check this out. Americans on the cusp of retiring are facing a tough choice as they watch their nest egg shrink. Stay the course or keep working. A stock market slump this year has taken a big bite out of investors' portfolios, including retirement plans like 401ks. The S&P 500, the benchmark for many index funds, is down about 17% since its all-time high in early January. The sharp reversal after a banner 2021 for Wall Street has been particularly unsettling for those who have been planning to retire sooner rather than later and banking on a healthier stock portfolio to help fund their post-work lifestyle. It doesn't help that the cost of everything from gasoline to food is up sharply amid the highest inflation since the 1970s, okay, over 40 years. Or that the Federal Reserve's recipe for fighting inflation, hiking interest rates, has heightened fears the U.S. economy will slide into a recession. It's already in a recession. They're not going to tell you that, though. This is bad news for corporate earnings growth, a key driver of stock prices. The market skid has financial planners hearing more often from anxious clients seeking advice and reassurance in equal measure. Well, you know what they're going to tell you? Stay the course, right? While you see you understand, your savings evaporate like water in a pot with a flame abundant, right? They say some clients are opting to push back their retirement date in hopes that will buy time for their investments to bounce back. Not going to be any bounce back, but again, you know, they'll find out the hard way. Chicago Sun-Times, May 29th. Monkeypox explained what the rare disease is. What is monkeypox? The virus originates in wild animals like rodents and primates and occasionally jumps to people. You believe that? I don't. It belongs to the same virus family as smallpox. Yeah, right. I don't believe that at all. They're inseminating in people. That's what I see. Also, $1 billion settlement reached in Florida condominium collapse that killed 98. Now, that's the Edomite condominium down in Florida that collapsed, you know, here the other year and killed 98 people, right? So they done settled for a little over $1 billion. I think it's like $1.02 billion is what they the insurance company is offered to survivors and their families. All right, everybody not gonna get the same, you know, if it's accepted, right? And again, these was Edomites, so you know they gonna get top dollar. As much as an Edomite insurance will pay you in any extent, you know what I'm saying? Chicago Tribune, May the 29th. Now, you know, for years, over the last, I don't know, about eight years, been talking about the water rising. Now, you know, that's prophecy. You remember chapter 51. Babylon gonna sink. The daughter of Babylon gonna sink, right? And I've been read different articles where they say the water is rising. You know, like here a few years ago, I showed you the picture where the woman in Miami was waiting for the bus. She was standing in waters up over her ankles, right, with no shoes on. And they was talking about, is this cause Miami is sinking? You understand what I mean? You know, like I say, they use the term water's rising. Well, if it's rising, that means this is sinking, right? Okay, here